All right. There we go. There we go.
I hear the game super loudly. I don't know if that's the case for everyone else. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait.
Is it because you're hearing the...
Yeah, it's because the stream audio was on. There we go.
Oh. How's it going?
It's going. So you decide you're going for some couch action
or
tonight.
Recliner action.
Yeah.
I just felt like I should try to do this more often. And when having people here the last 2 weeks, I had a lot of the pieces in place already. And I'm using this, and I don't know if it's like I'm using a shotgun mic. Let me know if it doesn't sound very good. And like maybe next time I'll switch back to using like the lavalier, because I think that sounded pretty good, and I think that that's something that I could probably do more often. But let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about too. I mean, is the shotgun pretty easy for you to use as well?
Oh yeah, I already have like a XLR run for it, so all I got to do is just plug in the CO2 or whatever it is.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's the same ones I have.
Yeah, and I can keep the chat like on my lap for a second, on my laptop right here. I'm using my good camera, so just let me know if it sounds good. Because I mean, if I can figure out a way to get the chat like on an easy to see screen, I could just like roll away, which I could very easily. Then I would. I'd probably do this more often, like a lot more often, and especially for a game like this that looks pretty nice, and it's kind of a unique looking game. I wanted to play it on the big TV.
Yeah, I mean, I know that this came back on your radar because John was talking about it. I got to hang out with John a little bit too when I was up there last weekend. And so I remember he mentioned this was one of the games that was on his Game of the Year list either last year or the year
last
before.
Year.
And I watched that, but I don't remember this, so I guess it'll.
Yeah, it's after he had mentioned it, and I went on Amazon. It's $30 for a physical copy, and it just came out. He actually ordered a copy of it just before because he went back to Germany on Friday, and he was picking up as much as he could while he was in the States, and he saw that had just gotten a physical release, so he ordered it.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about here in Cincinnati, there's a distribution center, so you can do like next day delivery for a lot of stuff. So he ordered this, and I was like, you know what? I have to order a couple of other things, and I feel like $30 seems like a pretty it's lower than I would expect.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, so I see it's on Switch. I'm assuming you must have got the PS5 version.
Oh,
I'm assuming.
And when you see it in action, you're gonna think like, oh,
I'm going to like immediately want to order it.
Yeah, I actually put a link, like an affiliate link, in the top of the on the stream page, and I'm gonna start doing that more often. Where it's like, oh, if anybody wants to buy the game that we're playing, here's a link.
Yeah,
to do so. Because I think
that's a good idea.
I feel like when a lot of people see this in action, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this looks really cool. I want to buy this right now."
Yeah.
So might as well take advantage of that of showing it.
Why not?
So yeah, I mean, I just we'll see. It's it's a what is it called? A boomer shooter. I guess.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
But it's it's a bit more hectic than I was expecting. But I popped it in this morning. Just like a lot of times when I'm have my coffee in the morning, before I really get into working on something, I will like just pop in a game and maybe capture like 20 minutes or something. And I popped this in and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I messaged you right afterwards and said, this morning I said, if you don't have anything to stream, I can stream this.
Right.
And you had a moment where you're almost going to stream that Zelda.
Yes.
Zelda's Quest.
Zelda's Adventure. If anyone didn't hear about that, the CDI Zelda game that was not the one made by Animation Magic the one that is supposedly even worse than those. It was remade for Game Boy with like Link's Awakening style graphics. And while I applaud the idea and effort, I tested it out, and I hope that they continue to refine it because it needs work. There's no like there's no sound effects, there's no feedback from like hitting enemies or being hit. The attacking just it doesn't feel good to play. It's a good idea, but like if you're going to like change the platform of this game from CDI to Game Boy, like I also want it to like feel really good to play. Otherwise, I think I'd rather just have like, you know, what was done with like the Zelda CDI games a few years ago and have like the visuals to enjoy or be amused by, right? And that also, those also kind of fixed a little bit of the, the feel of the game and stuff like that. Had some quality of life stuff. So this is a good idea, but I feel like the context is lost in the translation somewhere there. And it
seems like it has a ways to go too.
I hope that maybe it's further refined, but it was like, this isn't quite something that I think would entertain us for more than like 10 minutes max. So I was like, you play your game.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get started. I'll start a new campaign. Make sure everything's looking good. Hopefully I'm playing with surround sound and everything on, so hopefully it doesn't get picked up too much like on the microphone. But I guess we'll see. And I can always adjust that if need be.
Wow, that is a really big press start. Like, that almost looks like a smartphone, like, design sort of, icon there. It's like, it got to be big so you can touch it.
All right.
I see you were logged in as to ProNet.
Yeah, I don't really know what all that stuff is. I think it has like a whole map editor and people can make maps and stuff too. So as you see, it kind of has this pixelated graphics filter over top of it, which I guess you can turn off. There's a lot of different things in the options to turn off, the...
Oh, okay. So I see the textures are like low res, but there's like a lot of post-process effects and lighting and...
So, I mean, that's why I feel like the Switch version probably struggles. I mean, you can even turn off, like that look to it, but I feel like that's part of how it should. You can adjust the dither amount. I mean, there's a lot of different things.
I mean, I think high res might be interesting, but just like the Night Dive games, right? Like they're high res but preserve the low pixel graphics. Oh yeah, but there's definitely like a lot going on with like the
graphical effects,
like lighting and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I feel like this is probably the version to get if you want a console physical.
Right.
Because I have no idea how this would run on the Switch. I mean, I don't fault them for doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like there's
I'm gonna play
there's
with
like
these
a lot going on, but it just got like the low res textures.
Yeah, and you can like there's different, like you can use like 3D models, or you can have like the what is it, the high res mode, and I mean, I don't know, there's like a whole bunch of different things. You can have like 3D models, or like you'll see where it's very Doom like, where you kill somebody and they're very kind of flat, and you move around them and they don't like look 3D, they just kind of stay flat. But I guess you can turn that off even.
The rain looks shockingly good.
Yeah.
Sunbury Studios is wondering if there's any way to get more sound effects.
There's not a lot right now, but I can turn that up. Oh, why isn't that showing anything here?
See, Frank Strasser's saying, glad MLiG is still thriving. I've stepped out of retro for a bit. Yeah, it's been a little while since we've seen your name around these parts. Welcome back.
I don't know why I'm not seeing any audio levels. Just make sure here. Let me check something. Yeah, it's not getting any game audio here. Hang on, let me just toggle this real quick. See if I can get it back here.
Does the PS5 version have any gyro control settings?
I didn't see any. See, I'm not seeing any.
That would interest me.
Game audio here. Let me just try something. Usually, I thought I could just adjust it.
While Coury is fiddling with that, look what I bought this week. Surprisingly enough, like I don't know if this is still the case, but like these seem to be like readily available. I had it ordered on Amazon and it was like, you know, it came out on Friday, 2 weeks before the game, the Zelda game. And Amazon wasn't going to deliver it till like Tuesday, and it still hadn't shipped, and I could cancel. And like I saw it was like available, like just looking online, it was available in store at Target and Best Buy, and so I just went to Target and just bought it. I went to Best Buy yesterday, and they had them there too. So I don't know, but yes, this is my first Switch OLED or SWOLED as the people call them. I've been stubbornly sticking with launch model for a long time. And as I've been saying, you know, you can thank me when Nintendo finally announces Switch 2, you know, within a year or less, because inevitably that will happen, you know, after I finally upgrade.
I don't know why the audio is not showing. It's not coming through. It doesn't make any sense.
But I think I'll be happy to have this, even if, you know, the successor is fully backwards compatible and stuff like that. You know, it'll be a good thing to have. So it's been
okay,
pretty nice.
Oh, weird. So it's like passing through the 5.1. So it's just like, oh, I don't know why it's doing it that way, but it is.
Wait, what do you mean?
When I turn, you know, that or whatever. Like there should be audio there, but now it's only coming out of one speaker. It's almost like it's getting the 5.1 sound for whatever reason. I don't know why. Like this, does that fix that? That's weird. I can't mess with it right now though. I'm not gonna mess with it right now.
Wow. Aramanado says I bought my Zelda OLED from Japan. Even with shipping, it was 90 Canadian cheaper. Holy crap. That's wild. So wait, so say again what
I don't know why it's doing what it's doing.
It's passing only certain channels. Is that what you're saying?
It seems to be. I don't know why.
I mean, so a problem I've been having lately is, you know, I like how the Switch will just let you use surround sound.
Like the rear speakers for some reason.
Oh, for you? Are you set as your
like going through to the stream? It seems to only be sending the rear speakers. I don't know why.
Is your Denon set to a weird mode?
It's not. You know what? In the interest of like making it good for everybody,
Just switch your PS5 to stereo.
Well, yeah, and also, let's just do this. There. Now everybody should be hearing the game, right? Everyone hear the game good now? My life and sound issues. Yes. I mean, is it? I'll figure
It's
that out.
always my life and sound issues.
Yeah. Now you should be able to hear it.
Nope.
I mean, it's
They
just
say
quiet right now.
but way better.
There's only a rain sound right now.
I mean, I imagine the game gets fairly loud.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it looked like there should be sound effects there. Koi-Fish Gaming says this game is notorious for sound issues. I wonder if that possibly has anything to do with it.
Now it's like freaking really loud. Well, let me turn that down a teeny bit. Because I think that once you get to a certain point, it just gets real loud.
I like how those hands look like very digitized.
Well, you can choose what colors you want. So I made, if you go to graphics, or where is it? Gameplay. Yeah, your primary colors. So like, whatever I chose, like as my arms are green, it's like almost Master Chief-esque.
Yeah, but like it's a brighter green, so
well, you
like
can
it
choose it.
feels of an even earlier era though, because of how bright it is.
Right.
I like how it looks very pre-rendered, but the light effects like play off of it. I wonder if it's actually real time, but they just lower the frame rate to make it look that way, like to make it look like it's pre-rendered. Like they
Yeah,
just like don't interpolate the frames.
It does look like I have Hulk hands on, kind of.
You know, it's kind of a funny game. Yeah, here it is. Funny game that actually came out the same day as the Switch OLED is Fight Crab.
Oh yeah, I got that from Target for whatever reason. They had it. They had like a buy one get one free or get one half off like a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. Apparently, Dave streamed it a while back, but I didn't know about it because I went into Dave's Discord and was like, Dave, you can buy Tonfa for your crab because that's like the weapon that the hero in Suikoden 2 uses.
Yeah. And that was what pushed him over the edge, huh?
Well, no, I didn't hear back from Dave, but someone was like, "Oh yeah, Dave streamed that a long time ago." I'm like, "Oh." I didn't even know about it until I saw there was a physical copy coming, and it was like delayed for a while too. Like, cause I got like alerts from Amazon being like, "We don't even know when this is coming out. Do you still want it?"
Why would you not want it?
But I was like, no, this game looks really stupid, and I do want it. It's like it's like you use the. I mean, you can use a controller, but it definitely seems like using the separate Joy-Cons is the way to go. Like you actually, in the tutorial it says you are a crab, and you actually like move the Joy-Cons and like you just smash the other crab and like do like Smash Brothers style like percentage damage, and you try to knock the other enemy over. It's like kind of a wrestling game. It's weird and pretty amusing. I mean, I only played like the tutorial and then like one level. Like looked around the shop a bit, but it was pretty funny. I've been
this game
playing.
Is like viscerally bloody too. I mean, like look at it, just like colors the whole ground.
Did I ever mention on stream that I started Jade Empire, which was one of my
No. I mean, I knew, obviously.
my 2023 beat pledges. So I'm making progress a little bit. I've been hoping like maybe I can beat it before Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, that'd be nice. I'm gonna have a problem if I don't beat it before then. I mean, I'm like, I don't know, probably like 8 or 10 hours into it, and
Oh wow.
like it's only supposed to be like 20 to 30 hours. I don't feel like I'm that far in though, but like I mean, if it is no more than 30 hours, like if I just play 2 to 3 hours a night for the next 2 weeks, like I should be able to finish it in theory. And that's that's not anything crazy. I should be able to do that.
Yeah. Ooh, I got a secret.
It's pretty cool, although the combat is not as fluid feeling as I had hoped for.
As what?
Like I remember several years ago just playing like the tutorial fight, and I was like, oh, this seems pretty interesting. But in practice, the combat doesn't feel great, although part of that could possibly be due to having chosen the magic character, which I chose the magic character based purely on the fact that I think Jade Empire was BioWare's game that immediately preceded Dragon Age Origins, and like all of the classes in Dragon Age Origins except for Mage suck. Like they're just not fun at all to play. Mages are fun in Dragon Age though, so yeah, I was like, well, I better do the magic character. And I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe I should have chosen one of the fast characters. Dragon.
I don't know what the nexus points are.
That's what I'm saying. Dragon Age was Jade Empire was the game immediately preceding Dragon Age. I think. I don't know if they released something else that I'm forgetting about. Maybe did Mass Effect come out before Dragon Age Origins? It might have.
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't know.
I wasn't paying that much attention at the time since, you know, it was Xbox exclusive and I didn't have a 360 yet. Well, it was on PC, but I wasn't playing a lot of PC games. Let's see. I'm going to look up BioWare on the old Wikipedia.
I mean, it might be quiet because of the way I'm sitting, and I'm, you know, I wasn't talking super loud, I guess.
Did BioWare's logo change at some point? It looks on the Wikipedia page. It looks weird. It must have changed at some point since the last time I played a BioWare game. Okay, let's see. Oh, Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. Whew. I forgot about that. I mean, I've never played it, but I hear it is unbelievably atrocious. Okay, so yeah, there was Knights of the Old Republic, then Jade Empire, then Mass Effect. And then Dragon Age Origins. So, okay. But yeah, still, my point remains. I chose the magic focused character because I was like, well, if BioWare hadn't yet learned how to make non-magic characters fun, maybe I should. But now I feel like I don't know. I stuck with the magic character, and she's fine. But it took a little bit to adjust and get like some different fighting forms that used magic a little better. I find it really hard to like judge your distance from enemies and stuff, and like how close you have to be to get a hit in and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's good overall. I just wish the combat were a little smoother. It's weird. There's like a lot of like weirdly modern things in it. Like, you know, a lot of, you know, autosave going on, but like not enough. So it like actually it kind of fools you, because you think like, oh, the game is being pretty generous because it's autosaving a bunch, but it doesn't actually autosave quite enough. So you need to do a lot of manual saves, or else you're going to die and not realize like how long it was since the last time you saved. I'm talking about Jade Empire, which is one of the games that I pledged to beat in 2022 in our games we played in 2022 video, or pledged to beat in 2023.
That's the first one you're taking on too of your whole.
No. I mean, it's the first like RPG, but I mean, I did Mega Man 11.
Oh, that's right.
I've got a couple of not long games on there too, like Inside and Hyper Light Drifter, and a few RPGs that are hopefully not that long, like the 2 Lunar games.
Right.
But I've got a couple that are going to be longer, like Trails of Cold Steel.
Yes.
And
You should save that for last. That's probably the longest game on your list, I'm guessing.
yeah, it's going to be the longest game. I don't know when I'm going to do it. But yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, I can't imagine much progress is going to be made on the list. You know, between Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16.
Right.
So yeah.
So what's everyone think so far? Does it look pretty cool?
It does look pretty cool. I mean, like, I know I want to buy this, so I think I'm
good.
So that is good.
I'm just gonna buy it. Just gonna buy it. I know it's faded. I've got Amazon. Got Amazon credit card points anyway.
That's good.
Yeah. I can get for $5.55 after that. That's good.
That is good.
Oh, we got a $1 super chat from Eric Schussler.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Although with some unfortunate or I guess positive. I don't know which way to look at this. It sounds like getting better, but it says I'm 26 and almost fully healed from thumb tendonitis.
Ooh.
Haven't been able to play any games since early March. Binge
Dang.
played Metroid Dread a few days off in February. I think the control scheme did me in. Too many long play sessions. Take care of your hands, gamers. Whew, that doesn't sound fun. Well, hopefully you're good and able to play again. You know, I always found the original DS. I mean, any model of DS, but really probably mostly like the original model and the Lite. Probably not so much the DSi, but some games would cramp my hands, and like Whoa, is that your controller rumbling like crazy?
Yeah, you hear it. It has you can turn the adaptive trigger stuff on and off. It
Oh
does,
yeah,
which is kind of interesting because you don't see that too much on like smaller games like this.
right. But yeah, like I always found like Mario Kart DS like really cramped up my hands, and I would kind of feel it like down in here, and sometimes like the pointy bits of the original model 3DS would like push into like the fat parts of my thumb, and like especially like doing power sliding in Mario Kart DS.
Yeah.
Like it definitely cramped my hands, but then I was playing the game so hard, it was like the first time I ever got to play online games with Drum and Xavian,
Mm-hmm.
I was like the first time we ever gotten to play games together at all. And so we were just like playing it so hard and like weirdly,
so, really quick,
yeah.
I feel like this might sell people on the game more so than a lot of other things, is that it has a Super Mario World style overworld.
Oh, I feel like I heard about this. That's funny.
Yeah, John had mentioned it, but I mean that's
funny.
I feel like that might
that's very unique for the genre.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly, but I'm into it.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, exactly. That feels like a big selling point.
But yeah, like the DS and DS Lite, those systems definitely cramp my hands. But like, this is probably terrible advice, and I do not intend this as advice. But like, I would find that like after like several days or a week of like just playing the same game on DS, like it actually got better. Like it was just like my hands like adapted to like the weird cramped way I had to hold the system, and yeah, I don't know. It was that in my experience, it got better, and then like I wouldn't have trouble with those games anymore. It's like my muscles learned to adapt to the horrible form factor of the DS.
I definitely get like thumb and this like overall hand cramps more so than I used to, where my hand just like tightens up after playing certain games for a while.
I mean, luckily, like I can't think of the last time that like anything like that happened while playing a game or using any particular controller. Although like one time several years ago, like I did just kind of have some soreness in one hand / wrist that lasted for a few days. And like I even went to the pharmacy and got like a brace for like sleeping with while wearing, because I felt like what I had done was maybe like slept weirdly, like laid on my hand weirdly or bent it weirdly while sleeping.
Yeah.
But like after a point in the day, like I couldn't, like I just didn't really feel comfortable like using my computer or even like just like shooting B-roll, just like adjusting the camera and hitting record was even like just kind of a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, dang.
But that only happened one time. That was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. But
I don't know what these Nexus points are. I assume that they're respawn points. If you die, that's where you respawn.
Is it on my right wrist? I couldn't tell you which hand or hands ever gave me issues while playing DS.
Yeah, there's like
both? I honestly can't
guns.
remember, because like I say, like I've not really had issues since the DS, and even then, like it was like relatively early in the DS. Like I almost feel like I just like learned how to hold the system better over time.
Yeah.
That's good.
Ooh.
Oh man, Mr. Dude, did you see that I also got the other day? Add to my backloggery. I see Mr. Doom in the chat saying about 2 copies of James Bond Jr. NES and Super Nintendo. I don't think the Super Nintendo one's very good. Now, honestly, I don't even know like if this one is all that good. But one of my local game stores recently got like I think like a complete NES collection traded in. Like it was a couple of weeks ago, and I went there Friday. And the only game I bought was James Bond Jr., which like I played a little bit of it, like on a EverDrive or Mister or something some time ago, and like it, like I couldn't quite tell from that little bit like if it was good or bad, but it was interesting. Like it looked visually quite nice.
James Bond Jr.
I was surprised. It's a Eurocom. I think it's Eurocom that did it, which is interesting because you know they did a lot of Bond games themselves. But yeah, I went to the game store and man, there was a strange guy asking like all kinds of questions about all kinds of games. You know,
He was strange.
He was strange. Like he was very like, you know, like kind of good old boy country sounding sort, but like just asking the staff, asking customers, just like a ton of questions. Oh, first of all, when he comes into the store, he's like, he's like, hey, do you work here? And at first I thought he was talking to me, but he was talking to the lady behind the counter. She's like, yeah. He said, you got any tissues? She's like, I've got napkins. she gives it away, just makes like the loudest, like most gloopy sounding, like blowing into these napkins you ever heard in your life. Like this seems to be like what drew him into the store was like, I have got to blow my nose like crazy. What? And then he's like, where are we? We in Huntersville? And I'm just thinking, like, I mean, he was right, but like, just like he seemed very confused about like how he ended up here. He's like, hey, you got anything to drink?
What?
She's like, no, we don't have a fridge, but one of the other locations has a fridge. And he's like, you know what? I'll bring you a fridge. Like I've got an extra fridge. I'll bring you a fridge. Well, like so, like it's weird. Like he was like talking and like as if he was like he'd said he'd never been there, but he was also almost talking like he was familiar with the place, or like I don't know. He was like being like I don't know. It was strange. And then he was like going around like, oh man, 1080 on N64. How much is that? And then, you know, then just like, oh, you know, I won Nintendo Switch. He says, what's the most desirable one? You know, the staff guy goes over the different models. He's like, oh man, Super Mario, I like that. And she's like, well, that's Mario Party. Like, that's not really, you know. He's like, I don't know. And, you know, and then, you know, like, he was asking, like, oh, what's this, what's that? He just, like, did not seem like the kind of person that was, like, actually going to be buying any of this stuff.
He just wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, but, like, at the same time, like, I wonder if he ended up buying anything because, like they were making like a pile of some of the stuff that he was asking about on the counter, and then like then it was like, you know, like, dude, like 3DO, what's that? And, you know, it's a game console that, you know, wasn't very popular. And like, TurboGrafx, what kind of system's that? And the guy that was working was just like, oh, that's, you know, it's just another home console. He goes,
like immediately,
what kind of console?
Like just wants him to leave and shut up. Like,
yeah, I know. He's like, what kind of console? It's like, Turbo Graphics console? Like what?
Yeah.
What more do you like? What more answers do you want?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely
Like he,
definitely
like I don't know, like
on something.
yeah, like it was, and then he was like talking about like he was like, I got a bear in the car.
A bear?
And like,
or a bear?
yeah, like someone was just like, he was talking about a bear in the car. Then he said something about a stuffed bear.
A bear in the car? Oh, he's got a bear.
No, like a stuffed bear, and he said he's wearing a helmet. But then it was like unclear if he was talking about a car or a motorcycle. He said he's got a riding buddy. Like I don't know, man. Like it was it was a strange situation. Like next time I go, I'm gonna have to ask, like, hey, do you remember that weird guy last time I was here? Did he actually buy anything? Oh, Jay Up says this happens at my game store regularly.
You see the Alex Gavin?
I did, but I just got on my ramble. I apologize. That was 6 minutes ago. Thank you. There's a $10 super chat from Alex Gavin saying, "Try, you're going for Jade Empire. I'm aiming to finish Spirit Tracks and Panzer Dragoon Saga before Tears of the Kingdom. Finally got Panzer Dragoon Saga run on Pseudo Saturn. Rather donate here than pay the ridiculous price for that." Well, I appreciate that. I mean, Panzer Dragoon Saga's not supposed to be that long, is it?
It's surprisingly short for being on 4 discs.
Yeah. Spirit, how you doing in Spirit Tracks? That game was like, I really liked like just the general like control scheme and everything for like the DS Zelda games. Like I felt like they did a really good job of touchscreen controls for those actually. But like the dungeon design and some of the other aspects I remember not liking quite as well. I wonder what I'd think of them revisiting them today. The one thing I will say for sure about Spirit Tracks though is that the overworld theme is fantastic, and that's one of the best overworld.
That's
themes
the train
in Zelda,
one, right?
Yeah. I think I remember being a little bit annoyed by how many times you had to revisit that temple where you like play as Spirit Zelda. I feel like I remember that being a little annoying.
Oh man,
that might have been the main thing that bothered me. I can't remember honestly. Did I finish Amagon? Not yet. I wasn't able to stream last week on the backlog read because I was at Coury's house. But I will be continuing Amagon tomorrow, and then maybe if I do well enough, it'll be Amagon from my backlog.
Ooh, I'm almost dead.
Oh, there was a $20 super chat from EB Chill 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saying, I'm almost done with Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and then starting Heavensward. Try, your passion for Heavensward and Final Fantasy XIV has kept me going. My backlog does not say thank you, but I will. I'm enjoying it. Well, that's good.
Keep it running.
You know, I've not ever played like the sped up version of A Realm Reborn. You know, a couple of years ago they trimmed some of the fat from it to kind of move players along it more quickly, like less of the introductory quests, and you know, maybe not so much, you know, kill 5 rabbits and types of quests. I don't actually know what they did, but they supposedly streamlined it. But, you know, a lot of people complain about Realm Reborn, but, you know, when it came out, it was just like such a miracle that, you know, the game had been rebuilt so quickly in such a functional state that, like, I wasn't looking for it to, like, blow my mind or anything. And I find a lot of people do struggle with it though when they're starting it today, but like within the context of when it launched in 2013, I guess it would have been early 2013, I think. You know, it was it was amazing, I thought. You know, the story wasn't anything amazing, but it was fine. It ends up being like important sort of setup, but like the story is the story is that's good after that, especially starting with Heaven's Word. You know, I think a lot of
weapons available. I mean, there's a lot. It looks like there's gonna be a lot of weapons in this game.
I think a lot of people's favorite story tends to be Shadowbringers, which is really, really good. But I think Heaven's Word is still my favorite. It's just it's really good. But yeah, I hope you will enjoy that and want to see where the story goes from there.
I appreciate that this game just doesn't have grenades. It's kind of nice to just not have to worry about throwing grenades.
I mean, that's a pretty normal thing for a boomer shooter, though.
Oh.
To not have grenades.
I guess I mean I guess I haven't played very many. Honestly, like
I mean, they're not in Doom, they're not in Quake.
I'm almost to the end of episode 4 of Doom.
Nice.
I mean, it gets like ridiculously difficult in episode 4.
Well, in the final, well, no, I think I'm thinking of Doom 64. It's been a long time since I played.
Like I know that's like actually like that's just the expansion or whatever for it.
What is?
Episode 4.
I honestly
It's I felt like it is.
I may have not
it just
played
like
that.
It's like really out of control. Like there's just like enemies spawning in like crazy, and it just feels like, hey, let's just ratchet it up as much as we can.
Is that the one where Tim Rogers was constantly mentioning one of the levels by its like numbers and abbreviations?
Yeah, well, he does throughout that entire video, but
yeah, but that's the one that he like goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it's like, you know, yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I may not have played episode 4. I'm not.
Perfect
not
Hatred was the one that took me. It took me forever to. Oh, geez, look at those guys. That was Perfect Hatred was the hardest one that I've played so far, I think.
Interesting. Brandon Smith, the original version of Final Fantasy XIV is not preserved by Square Enix, although I know that I don't know how playable it is, but I do know that there are private server projects that have been worked on. I don't know what the status of those is, but see, I regret that I never actually played through the story of you know, that Yoshida and his team added over the course of the service of version 1 as they, you know, improved it and also you know, built a Realm Reborn behind the scenes. And I kind of I don't think I quite understood like the extent to which the game was going to be, you know, revamped and the old content not accessible. And I definitely probably would have played the story if I knew that that was going to be like a thing that was just not going to be accessible. I mean, they do a good job of, you know, catching you up to speed on.
Can you turn out the blood in this game? That's a good question. See, you can virtual resolution, so you can make it native. I don't know what it looks like. Let me just go back. Oh, interesting. So that's what it looks like. Without that doesn't look bad actually. Like that looks pretty cool too. It's like the native resolution with the overlay on it.
Oh, Russia and Morgan went on a road trip this weekend.
Oh, it's got like, oh, cool. You can do like scan lines.
I had everything you and Audie did try. Does that mean you mean you stopped at all the stores we did, or you had all the games that we had in that video?
I'm just seeing if there's a way to turn off blood, because there is a lot of blood.
I mean, it's fun. I'm just curious if it's. I'm curious if the option is there, but I think you should leave it on at this point.
Oh yeah. I'm just curious. I'm not gonna turn it off. I wonder what using models instead of sprites.
Kaz Trophy, I hope this is the final version because it's on console.
So, so look how much smoother that is then. When you see these guys, like, they just like move. See how they're using like but if you go in here and you switch it back to is it using, or maybe it's this using models instead of sprites, I'm gonna turn that off. And then they're like this. I like that better. Anyways.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Where it's got like an interesting stutter to it.
I mean, that's the look they're going for, you know?
Yeah. So.
That's good.
Okay, so.
Oh, hey, there was a $5 super chat from Warren Hokie just now.
That's good.
So this is this is native resolution. So I bet if you really wanted to, you could just make it look normal, like a normal shooter.
Well,
all these
probably effects. Not. Probably still low res textures though.
Yeah. But who knows? Let me see. I mean,
I feel like I like the idea of playing in native resolution, but with all of the other like retro trappings. But anyway, Warren Hokie said, "Am I weird for liking Metal Gear Solid 3 on the 3DS over PS2, even though it the FPS and resolution is terrible, just because it's portable Metal Gear Solid?" I mean, it is very impressive. I don't recall if I ever there was a demo for that, and I don't remember if I ever played it. I mean, to be fair, I don't think the frame rate was very good on PS2 either, if I recall. But yeah, I mean, you know, if 3DS is your jam, then I'd say that makes total sense. You know, I
like this better. I like how that looks. The 360p.
Okay, well, I'll see which resolution mode I prefer when I get it. But yeah, you know, I find the 3DS to be a difficult system to revisit currently. The DS and the 3DS both. It's just like I loved them back in the day, but I just never want to play them now. Like the more games from those systems that get ported in some fashion, the better for me. Oh man, Mr. Doobie, Kirby Plant Robobot though. That's what a great game. I mean, I sure would love for it to get the Return to Dreamland Deluxe treatment. That, and you know, I keep wondering what if they do port the 3DS Kirby games, what are they going to call
Triple Deluxe?
Kirby Triple Deluxe? Is it going to be like
Triple Deluxe Squared?
triple deluxe, or is it going to be double deluxe because it's not 3D anymore?
Oh.
Kirby double deluxe.
Yeah.
That's good.
Double
Yeah.
D, yeah.
There was $2 super chat from David Zaney saying Valkyrie profile on DS did not get enough love. Wow,
Oh,
honestly,
that's
I forgot.
Like something with the plume, right? Something.
Covenant of the Plume, I think. Yeah, was that like a real-time strategy game, maybe?
I forgot that even existed.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that in years. Yeah, I definitely forgot that existed.
I shot that thing and it crushed them all. There is.
That made me.
There's so much blood
think
in
of
this
something
game.
else. What did that make me think of?
It just seems like it'd be really hard to run around with all this blood. It'd be slippery.
Yeah, Valkyrie profile. I think it was a real-time strategy. I'm gonna have to look that up. Valkyrie profile. Covenant of the Plume.
The plume.
Tactical role-playing game. Oh, is it more like Final Fantasy Tactics?
I still got to get that the Elysium. I feel like, it's already down to around $30, so I think that it's only a matter of time before it's 20. I told you I got that Star Ocean, the new Star Ocean PS5. I got it, found one copy on clearance at Target. I got it for $17.99. And that happened really quick.
I know, and I saw it. I saw it at a game store for used for $40-some. And I'm like, man, I want to get it on the clearance action.
Yeah, I was
My Target never has anything.
This wasn't even in the normal place though. It's just like a random thing. It was because a lot of times in Target now, I feel like clearance stuff is just randomly on end caps. And they could have things from different departments. They just it might not be exactly in the electronics department.
This Valkyrie profile game, yeah, it looks like Final Fantasy Tactics or Ogre Battle or whatever you have. I'm kind of surprised I didn't get it, honestly, because it looks potentially interesting. Huh. That made me think of something else though when thinking about DS.
Ooh, there's a shop? Place to buy advanced weaponry and other assortments.
Other assortments.
Who are you going to buy it from? Who's running a shop in this place? Exactly. What are we buying?
What are you buying? What are you selling? Come back anytime. Oh, I was so before the stream I was playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for a while. Because I was trying to see if I was going to get that same surround sound issue that you had on Switch when using our new 16 input HDMI switcher.
Yeah.
And I was trying it with Mario Kart because it does have surround sound. It's pretty limited use of surround sound, and I don't know if that actually makes a difference. I don't know if the amount of sound being used in a game that supports surround sound is using a variable amount of bandwidth or something, and that you just ran into the issue because you were playing Metroid Prime. I didn't feel necessarily like playing Metroid Prime when I'd already finished it,
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what's something else that I could just play for a while with surround sound? So I was using Mario Kart.
Yeah. Oh, you can.
But anyway, I didn't run into the issue at all. Luckily, I mean, I played for probably like an hour, and I left it on for even longer, and like just listened to it while I was eating dinner. I did not have that issue. But anyway, so yeah, maybe that was just something weird about your setup that caused that to drop. But anyway, I bring all that up to say, I was shocked how many of the DLC cups were available that I had not yet played.
Yeah, I think there's only one more left, isn't there?
I think there's 2 more cups, which I think they do 2 cups per round of releasing stuff. But like, I just like
right,
having.
But I think there's only one more round of
right
of DLC at this point.
And I hadn't even been paying attention when they released those. I mean, I had the pass, but I just hadn't been paying attention. And the last level that I think there's one more cup that I didn't have time to play before the stream, but the last one I played was Yoshi's Island. And it's based on Yoshi's Island. It's pretty neat.
Oh, that's cool. You
Like
know,
it, like actually, like
a little bit of Mario Kart myself.
Oh yeah, have you played any of the DLC tracks, or do you have them?
No, you know, my wife had a whole bunch of like work things this week, so she was gone like all day, every day. So I was like, had to take the kids to like take my daughter to dance and all this other stuff. And my son usually doesn't go, but because it was just me, he had to go with. And I said, you know what, we can like hang out in the car. Bring your Switch, I'll bring my Switch, and we'll play Mario Kart multiplayer. And we totally had a great time with it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So he's got his own copy?
Yeah, I got him a digital copy.
So he likes Mario Kart, huh?
Yeah. I wish you could like co-op the cups like that, but really what it is when you play
Can you not? There used to be a at least in like Mario Kart Wii
But it was like wirelessly? I mean, just between systems.
I don't know. At least online, there was like a team mode. I don't remember if that's Mario Kart 8 or not. Alex Gavin was asking, the Mario Kart DLC ports is good. They're a mixed bag. A lot of them are really fun. Some of them don't feel quite right. And that's because a lot of it is taken from Mario Kart Tour. And like, so the visuals are a little inconsistent in quality because a lot of it just is lifted from like mobile assets with a little bit of touch up for Switch, but it's inconsistent. They don't look generally as nice as the main game, but I did like the style of the Yoshi's Island level. Like it felt pretty authentic to the game. It was pretty neat. But a lot of the DLC levels are fun. Some of them I don't love as much, but yeah, they can be pretty neat. I think it's funny how much I can hear your controller sometimes.
I know. Like with this gun specifically, because when you do the like the burst fire, which is holding down both triggers. Listen.
Is part of it because like the adaptive trigger is like fighting against you or something?
Yeah, but I just think it's the different motors running in a different mode.
Right.
Or a different speed or something. It's just. I wish each of these guns had individual ammunition. But if one of them runs out of ammunition, then they both have to reload.
Oh.
Now, it's not that big of a deal because.
So wait, it's Halo style where you have to hold L2 to fire the left gun?
Yes, but
See,
I mean,
I don't like that.
Oh well, I mean, it makes sense, I think, but
I mean, it makes sense.
But you don't actually have to do it. That's the thing, is like they both share the same clip, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to.
I mean, you know, I mean, I was used to GoldenEye style and Perfect Dark style, where you dual wield, but you still just have one fire button. I don't know, it feels weird to me to hold both triggers. Like, I don't know, I feel like less accurate or something. And and you can't use like the left trigger to like aim down sights and stuff.
Well,
you know?
in this, you hold down the left trigger and it gives you like different alternate fighting or shooting modes.
Oh, so there is no aiming down sights in this anyway.
Well, I mean, for instance, like the handgun, it does. But when you do that and you shoot, it actually shoots a burst of 3 shots.
Oh, hey, Ashura's here.
Oh,
It's been a little bit.
it has been. I wonder if he got to do anything for the...
style because you only have to use both guns if you're shooting like a tough enemy. But like, I guess the thing is, like, if you're not using both guns, then why are you even carrying 2 guns? Because see, I when I played through Halo 1 through 3 last year, I barely used dual wielding at all because, like, for one, it was a little confusing, like how to, like, swapping your guns when you wanted to go into dual wield. Like, swapping it was a little confusing. And if I'm remembering correctly, like, can you not have a big gun if you're dual wielding? Like you just have what you're dual wielding. Like, you don't have like another gun.
No, you do. When you switch, I think you drop one of them.
I remember being really confused, like when I was like picking up dual wielding weapons. It's like, wait, okay, what am I picking up and what am I losing? What am I trading? I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, I'm sure if you grew up playing Halo, or just played so much it's burned into your mind. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's...
I thought it was confusing.
It's just like 2 guns, use them or not. You know,
well,
it's just...
and GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, you pick it up. You can have 2 out. You can have 1 out. You also can have as many other guns as you want. That's not confusing at all, you know?
Okay, well, this you have 2 guns and you can shoot them separately if you feel like it, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, it does matter though, because if you're shooting both, like, you're presumably doing more DPS.
Well, that's your burst mode, and that's like its alternate firing mode for that gun is holding them both down. Just like the alternate fighting.
So what you're saying is, in this game, it's an alt fire mode rather than like firing.
Yeah, but if you wanted to, you could use the other one. See, I have this, right? And if I felt like it, there's only one clip. They share one clip, so I can shoot this one if I just wanted to, or I can shoot this one if I felt like it. Or if I wanted to use the alt firing mode, and it would fire them both at the same time, and it just like eats through everything really quickly. Eats through your entire clip really quickly. It's just an alternate firing mode, but you have the option of using one or the other if you feel like it.
So I haven't noticed you dying in this game.
I haven't died yet, although I'm kind of close to dying right now.
Yeah, I wonder if you would have to like start the whole level over again.
I think that I'm getting these like blue things, these Nexus points, and I bet you those are respawn or checkpoints. I'm guessing they are, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, because it's like, as far as I know, it's not really common anymore. Like, even for PC games to have like classic PCs, like save anywhere type of scheme, right?
Well, I've been very happy for the save anywhere in Doom on episode 4.
Oh yeah, well yeah, me too.
Like, I mean, I through like to make it through a lot of times.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you lose all your guns if you're starting fresh at the start of a level.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough enough in Quake. I assume that Doom might be the same, but in Quake, like, you know, it just this is fresher on my memory. But you know, you had no guns starting a new episode, and that was sometimes a little tough. So I've been playing Jade Empire on Series X, and I think it might end up being, unless I'm forgetting something, it might end up being the first original Xbox game that I've played like all the way through in backwards compatibility mode.
Oh wow. Original
I've
Xbox.
done some original Xbox. I mean, I've done some 360 games. Including Final Fantasy 13 last year. Of course, that was just a replay, but I mean, to be honest, my rate of beating original Xbox games is really, really poor. Let me look. Let me look at original Xbox. I've got like so few original Xbox games beaten when I look at my backlog. I mean, and a lot of these that are marked.
Definitely a little bit confusing.
Oh, wow, this map. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
How do I start it at? This music is really intense.
But yeah, man, my original Xbox beat rate is so bad. Like looking at my collection here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you gotta keep in mind, for one, I never owned the system until like shortly after we started the channel. Like I never owned any Xbox.
Right.
But yeah, so like for example, like going down my backloggery collection here, like I have Agent Under Fire marked beat, 007 Agent Under Fire.
Yeah.
That's only because I used to own the GameCube version back in the day.
Yeah.
I sold it at some point, but I did beat it. And so, like, it just happened. The only reason it's marked B is because it's the only version of the game I currently own. So it's marked B. And then, obviously, Conquer Live and Reloaded I beat. Fable, The Lost Chapters is marked beat, but I actually beat that on PC when it was not too old, probably 2006. I want to say it was 2005 or 2006, but I played it on PC. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, of course, I beat. Halo and Halo 2. You know, I played those last year, but again, it was on Series X. Master Chief Collection. Panzer Dragoon Orta. Let's see. Then, like, you know, I've got Soul Calibur 2, Time Splitters 2, Time Splitters Future Perfect. I have all those versions on Xbox, but, you know, I beat them on other systems originally.
Right. I'm just going around in circles here.
So, like, the games that, like, I actually beat on the Xbox system itself.
Yeah.
Were Conquer Live and Reloaded, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, and Panzer Dragoon Orta. I have never, how pathetic is that? I have never like beaten another game like using the actual original Xbox hardware. Like I really gotta make a dent in that Xbox backlog. Like, well, I mean, part of it is I just don't like the Xbox controller very much, not even the S.
That's until you
And that's why I was like talking to you the other day. Like I gotta get one of those adapters that let you play like
sewage agitator tank.
Either an Xbox One or Series X controller, because I love those controllers.
That's good.
What is this guy doing?
Those are great controllers, but I cannot get into the Duke or the OG Xbox S controller. Just can't do it. I mean, I can, but it makes my hand feel uncomfortable. You know, we were talking about hand cramps earlier. That's actually probably the last time that I had video game induced hand cramps. Is I played, what was it called? It was one of the games that Audie picked up, a terrible Xbox game. It was like what is it called? Like Drake of the 99 something or other dragons or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the sewage agitator tank?
No.
Oh, okay. That's my
I mean,
favorite
maybe.
Xbox game.
I mean, it's probably roughly as good. But, like, Audie bought that, which was a terrible game. And I like, booted while he was here, I booted it up and played it for, like, probably 20, 30 minutes tops. And, like, the whole next day, my hands felt weird. As much as I would like to blame that on Drake and the 99 Dragons, I think it was mostly the controller. I can't get into the original Xbox controller. If I was able to use a Xbox One or Series X,
Your hands felt weird.
They felt weird. They felt, a little crampy. But if I could use a current Xbox controller on it, and I just need to get one of those adapters, I think playing original Xbox would be a lot more appealing. Although I've kind of got capture issues with the original Xbox right now, as I mentioned, because I've got that make megahertz HDMI mod, which is nice, I think. But for some reason, I can't.
Oh no! I'm gonna die.
I can't capture.
Maybe. Oh.
Like, my capture cards do not like it.
I mean, is there a firmware update for it?
I honestly,
I know you don't like to update stuff very often, but I mean, in this case, it might make sense.
I know. I mean, I looked around and I had a hard time finding much documentation on it in general. Like, I was like, okay, there's got to be like an on-screen display like hotkey or something. I don't know if anyone else has that mod, but I couldn't find any documentation like to find out if there's like any settings for the thing. Like I figured there would be like an on-screen display just like with any of the other HDMI mods, but I don't know what the deal is.
This minigun is very satisfying to use. My kids are like way into like things that are satisfying. They say it way too much, and now I've started saying it. It's real
saying
satisfying.
What?
When things are like, certain things are, it's so satisfying.
Oh, is that just like a common like
Yeah, it's a common like,
YouTube or TikTok thing these days?
Yeah.
When I told John that I got my Switch OLED screen protector applied perfectly, he said satisfied.
Did you see there is a demo Kirby?
Oh.
Super chat.
So there was. Thank you. Saying 2024 try has the year of the Xbot. I mean, I should. I mean, I put Jade Empire on my pledge list this year just because I felt like I need to beat more original Xbox games. That was a big part of the reason I put it on my list. So yeah, I could focus on that more. But I kind of wish I had put a single Switch game on my list because
Oh, you didn't put any on there?
I put 8. Well, because I play Switch so often, right? And I wish I put some Switch games on there though, because Switch is an easy system to find some time for, whether you're at home or whether you're traveling,
Yeah.
But I did want to put an Xbox game on there just because I need to be more. And by the way, Demo Kirby, I sent you a message on Discord. You probably don't want the thing that I was asking you about, but if you know anyone who might want a gigantic needs work 32-inch CRT, let me know.
Still have not been able to get rid of it, huh?
I still have not been able to get rid of it. Well, that was the main reason I went to Video Game World on Friday. And it turns out that Zach doesn't work there anymore.
Oh, okay.
So like that makes it a little more difficult because he could fix it up and then sell it,
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like I can't bring myself to throw away a 32-inch CRT with component inputs, but I don't want to deal with it. And it needs work before it would be desirable. And but I suspect it would be pretty cool, with work. But it's got some bad convergence. But I think it could be good. I even asked Steve, and he's like, "It's too big for me to sell." I mean, I want it.
Genesis Part 1.
I want it.
Ooh, there's like trials. The trials shotgun. How do I open this then? Collect runes to unlock new levels.
There was a $2 super chat from Fun Explore Games.
Oh,
what a nice and pure username. Fun Explore. I love it. That's what I love to do. I love to have fun and I love to explore. Saying, do you plan to do any soft mods for old consoles? I mean, my original Xbox is soft modded. I
soft modded my my PS3
just last week.
Yeah.
And I was thinking I might be inclined to do that. Can you do it to like any model?
No.
No.
No. I mean, there's like not to have a permanent thing. If you can with like the Super Slim, you can do it so that it you gotta like hack, like it has like a shortcut or something like that. Like the PS3 hen or something like that that you have to run. But so only fats and like early models of the Slims can be.
Oh, okay. Well, but any fat.
Like permanently like modded, yeah.
But any fat, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm fine because if I did mod one, it would probably be my fat.
Yeah.
But I suspect my slim is probably, honestly, I mean, I don't know how early it has to be, but my slim is pretty early. So,
that again.
but yeah, I was thinking about, and I was even thinking, I don't know exactly what about hacking Xbox 360, but I've only got one Xbox 360, and I was maybe thinking about getting another just for the purposes.
The Super Shotgun is available for purchase.
But I've soft modded 2 Wiis. I've not soft modded any 3DSs. I've not soft modded any 3DSs or Wii U. But I am prepared to soft mod 3DS. But yeah, I want to do the PS3 sometime. For sure. Because it was looking at what you had set up there was pretty neat on yours.
Yeah. Get that Super Shotgun. Where is it?
The PS3 also need to be on firmware 3.55 or lower. Is that still true?
God, do I want the plasma rifle or I want the Super Shotgun? I feel like I want the plasma rifle.
I mean, but shotgun.
But I have a shotgun.
Oh.
But this is a super shotgun.
But in Doom, the super shotgun is like way better than the regular shotgun.
I know. Can I get a vote? Plasma rifle, which sounds more appealing to me, or super shotgun? Super shotgun is a beast. That's what The Last of Us is telling me.
Do you know anything about
good.
Xbox 360 modding? I know John's done it.
I feel like that can only be hard modded. Like it needs like a chip still.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna do a super shotgun, specifically because The Last of Us said that's a beast.
That's good.
I wish you could try it.
That's good.
Ooh, look at oh man, look at that.
PS4 is easy to hack? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was also thinking about looking into. I understand that hacking like launch models of the Switch is super easy as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's something that can't be patched out. I mean, you just gotta like put like some sort of pin thing on like the Joy-Con sliders or something. I don't know that much about it though. But anyway, there was a $2 super chat from Potbelly Punch.
Ooh, thank you.
Thank you.
There's also a Streamlabs one from.
Yeah. But this Potbelly Punch came first.
Yep.
Saying, thinking about RCA on Mister, that delicious blur. You know, I was.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day too. Like, oh, that'd be a way I would want to have an option for hooking that.
Yeah.
Now, am I correct that you have to use specific cores?
As far as I understand, they may be like incorporating them into like the regular cores now.
Oh, okay. And is it like?
It's not accurate to the systems.
It's not accurate. See, that's what I want. But are the cores that?
But I wonder if it can be with like filters and stuff.
Well, I mean, see, the thing is, like, NES composite has like such a particular look. I mean, Genesis too. I would only be interested if it was accurate to the system, because the composite aesthetic varies wildly per system.
Right. This is just like this is just really good composite as far as I understand. It's like the best look of composite you could get.
I mean, I'd like to see it, but I don't know if that is interesting for something I want to go out of my way to do. Because what I really love about the NT Mini composite is like it looks like NES composite.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I learned,
I'm sure that it's only a matter of time before it happens, but
Yeah.
I mean, unless I'm completely mistaken, I mean, this is very possible.
I mean,
I've only
I
been
don't
half
see
paying
why
attention,
it wouldn't
but-
be possible. Just because if it's possible on the NT Mini, well, I don't understand
Right.
what the limitation on the Mister would be.
Believe it. You're amazing.
But that's one of the coolest things to me about the NT Mini, and something that I learned when we did the NT Mini Noir episode, that I didn't know about was, I mentioned that for some reason the composite looks better on the NT Mini than the NT Mini Noir, and someone pointed out that I must have had the de-jitter turned on, which I had. And it turns out that the jitter is actually what gives the NES composite its look. Like even though like you'd think like, oh, it's just like the top scan line behaving funny, like it actually like the rate that it's pulsing like actually changes the look of the composite video, and it makes it look better, which is bizarre and cool and interesting. So if anyone wanted to do a de-jitter mod for Super Nintendo or whatever, or NES, you only want that for stability of like using RGB with it.
You don't want none of that, Dewey.
But but you don't want it if you want to have the option for using composite, because the composite, I guess, isn't going to look as good. So that's just kind of fascinating to me, because there are some NES games. I always think of Xanadu and maybe Zelda 2 to a lesser extent, but like especially Xanadu. Like I do like the way that game looks in composite. Like it just kind of that world I feel is so kind of artistically realized. Like it just feels like there's like a lot of depth and just more to the world beyond like just like the areas that you're running around in. It just, I don't know, it just creates a very believable feeling world, very, very rough and textured and lived in. And I feel like the composite kind of enhances that. I mean, I'm almost always going to be playing an RGB for NES anyway, but I can certainly appreciate the texture of composite from time to time. And there's also a $5 from Cade the Squirrel, who I've already forgotten what the it was Yo-Yo Yoshio was the original name, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, been a little while, saying zoinks, it's been a while, nice to catch a stream. Just got done installing a BinVin IPS screen into my Game Gear. Ooh. Haven't done any soldering for a while, so it was somewhat daunting but fun. I don't know if you've kept up, but Game Gear screen mods are nuts now. I need to look into that.
I mean, so I just I need to check out to see if it's any good. But a local friend met a guy who's like looking to get rid of all kinds of old stuff, and he had an old Game Gear. I was like, oh, yeah. I'm interested in that. So I have it upstairs, but I haven't checked it out yet. I'm curious.
Yeah, well, thanks to one Mr. Do, I am also going to have a Game Gear soon that I'll need to evaluate what might need to be done to it, because all Game Gears need work,
Yeah.
The minimum got to be recapped. I mean, part of me is like interested in having like an original Game Gear screen, just to have access to that original look if I wanted to shoot B-roll for it. But like I do also kind of want like a video output mod, but those kind of tend to go hand in hand with screen mods, I believe. So I'll be looking into what I want done with that system, but I'm looking forward to being able to use a real Game Gear, because I've got a decent little collection of Game Gear carts, but the only ways that I have to use them are Mega SG and Analog Pocket, of course. I really do love the look of the Game Gear filter on the Analog Pocket. Madashi, he says Coury looks relaxed.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not quite full relaxed. You're not quite full playing Yakuza mode
like this, right?
But you're inching towards it. You're inching towards it.
Just like this, right?
Um. Now you're like a dragon.
That's. I mean, I could just. It'd be funny if just having me like my head is in barely on screen like this.
Well, you know, if you rotated it to the side, then you'd have it like your Switch avatar. Just peeking out from the side.
Oh, I died for the first time.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to make it a priority to look into Game Gear mods. The last time that I had really looked into it at all, there were no mods that, you know, the aspect ratio is an issue, integer scaling is an issue. I mean, you want integer scale for vertical, but then, you know, the aspect ratio. I remember there were some shimmer issues, or you know, you zoom in on a lot of the older mods, and I haven't really looked into what is current.
This game kind of makes me think of Splatoon.
Does it? I mean, now that you say so, it does. Seeing all the blood on the ground kind of does want me to hit ZL and go swimming in it.
I mean, imagine someone makes a Splatoon style game, but it's just like you can only swim through like the blood of enemies.
Yeah, it'd be like demons versus aliens or something like that,
Yeah.
right? And the demons have red blood and the aliens have green blood. I'm actually kind of surprised no one's done that.
Yeah. At least, well, maybe they will now, or maybe it's already in development. I've still never even played Splatoon. Any of them.
You've never even done like the betas?
Nope. I've never played it.
I mean, it's pretty fun. I mean, you know, the multiplayer is so like hardcore at this point, I guess. You know, my presence on a team almost always makes it end up being the losing team, because like Splatoon players are pretty hardcore at this point.
Yeah.
I think. But you know, I enjoy playing them for the single player campaigns. I mean, they're very, you know, I want to say they're kind of like Ratchet and Clank, but they're not quite like that. Like they're for one, you know, they're definitely not as story driven or flashy at all. But you know, they're fun, quaint little campaigns. You know, they are enjoyable to work through. I guess they're making like a DLC campaign for Splatoon 3, kind of similar, I guess, to the Octoling DLC.
Oh no. Oh.
From 2, I suppose. Oh yeah, no Splatoon game is as good as Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I mean, no Splatoon game's single player campaign is probably as good as any Ratchet and Clank campaign, unless you count like Deadlocked. Like Deadlocked was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. It was not that bad, but I would say, you know, Splatoon's campaign is probably better than that. But like if you're considering like Ratchet and Clank mainline entries, like, yeah, probably. I mean, Splatoon's better than like All for One, but I don't consider that mainline. But no, I mean they're fun little. Like, you know what? It kind of makes me think of, like, I don't really know how to describe this. Like, the levels and the backgrounds are kind of a little abstract, and it kind of makes me think of like
a Prodeus portal has been detected.
it kind of makes me think of like the Super Nintendo or Game Boy Advance games that have like kind of like a static background layer that's like very simple and doesn't move. You know what I'm talking about? Like Klonoa, you know, the Klonoa Game Boy Advance games. Like, obviously the background moves, but it's very simple and abstract and doesn't necessarily feel like a real background that exists that you could like go into. Like, it always feels very abstract. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense to anyone. But like Splatoon levels always make me think of that. Splatoon's probably better than Into the Nexus. I mean, I remember I really liked Into the Nexus, but it was short. I mean,
that might be a fun one to revisit, really, because you know that came out like right as the PS4 was coming out.
Yeah, it's got a free what how did I call it? Like a free flight or free something jetpack. Remember the the review video I did?
Like, is it jetpack or is it like like a tether or something like that? Is that what do you call it?
You could fly around pretty freely with it. Although I think
I just remember you saying it, and it was released for $30. There's like a weird pause before when you say between you saying it's released for $30. I mean, you know, it's funny. It's funny. You know, I was working on something, and I was like, I did like a collab video with Tiger Chainsaw. I think it should be out tomorrow, or it came out today.
Oh, nice.
And I went back, and I was like watching this like the video on Quartet that I did a long time ago, the Quartet arcade versus console. And,
yeah.
Like those early videos, like when I'm real quiet, like my vocal fry is so bad too. It's like, ugh.
Vocal fry?
Yeah, it's like when.
What was that mean?
When you talk like this, like that.
That is vocal fry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
But I talk. I you know, it's got, and it's
what is vocal? Cool. Oh, this is from Johns Hopkins Medicine.
Yeah, what is vocal fry?
Yes, what is vocal fry? Vocal fry is the lowest register tone of your voice, characterized by its deep, creaky, breathy sound. When you speak, your vocal cords naturally close to create vibrations as air passes between them, like a piano or guitar string. These vibrations produce sound, your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just because I was, at the time, I was talking very quietly. But I don't know, it's just maybe it's just the way that I conducted, I spoke, I guess. Ooh, it's a sniper shot. We got a sniper rifle.
When you use vocal fry, you relax your vocal cords, but do not increase the amount of air you're pushing past your vocal cords, which produces slower vibrations and ultimately results in a lower creaky sound. Does vocal fry affect your health? Vocal fry is not physically harmful to the health of your voice. The vocal anatomy is not damaged by speaking in vocal fry. However, like any behavior, vocal or otherwise, it can become a habit, explains Johns Hopkins otolaryngologist Lee Axt. Otolaryngology. I can't even say this word.
Laryngitis?
Otolaryngologist. Did you know otolaryngologist was a field of medicine?
But I look back at it now, and it's only because I think that I hadn't really learned how to project my voice on when speaking, like when narrating or doing voiceovers or anything like that. Because I was just like so caught up in trying to be like, just as inoffensive as possible, I guess. Is a good way to put it.
I mean, it sounds like the words version of the Ju-on sound.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like.
Sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I can't. I can't do it right now. I've done it pretty good a few times, but it's not happening today.
Like that, right?
Mm. I mean, I thought it was so funny. When I drove up to your place, I listened to a ton of the "Here's My Question for You" podcast.
Yeah.
On the way up and on the way back. And at some point, like Chris was talking about how someone had like early, I don't know if it was early in his channel, maybe, I don't know, called him like a charisma vacuum.
Oh, it was who was it? And at the time, it was like it's somebody like Major. I think it might have been Woodhawker that called him that.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
From Beat 'em Ups.
Oh. But like, that's just so funny to me because like I have a hard time thinking why anyone would say that about Chris, because he's just got that like his voice is so pleasing to listen to,
Mm-hmm.
Like to me that is like exactly the voice you want to hear in videos. Like,
yeah, I mean,
who would say that?
He was always told that he has very good diction. Where he just like he enunciates his words like really good.
You know what? I mean, it's funny. You all keep talking in the podcast like, well, this used to be about asking. Here's my question for you. Like, I feel like you should just start calling it "Here's my podcast," just like the.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to be on the "Here's My Podcast," or I'm listening to "Here's My Podcast."
Here's my podcast. Welcome to Here's My Podcast.
I mean, that's
like that's basically what it is.
Here's my. I know. It's just like, well,
Jeez.
we record for a couple hours. Here's my podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't just like start like it's like kind of like in the middle of the conversation, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we'll be just like talking and be like, "Oh, we should start recording now," so that we don't like miss this stuff.
Yeah, but I like how it just like starts in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah,
but you like get enough context quickly enough to make sense.
And what's funny is like as the episodes go on, like us saying what episode it is and what even the name of the show is gets like later and later into the episode. Like this comes out tomorrow. I don't think we said you're listening to episode 27, and it was like 45 minutes into the podcast. It's like more than half over, which is funny.
Well, man,
my daughter makes an appearance in tomorrow's episode. She came down.
Oh.
And because we recorded it yesterday, and usually we record it when they're at school. But she came down and she was like, "Can I be on the podcast?" And originally I was like, "No," but she was like already like in the camera. I was like, "Okay." Like then she put on the headphones and Chris like talked to her for like 10 minutes about like
really?
the room and stuff. So it's kind of fun.
But man, I gotta tell you, the episodes that I was on when I was driving home, like the first two were like almost entirely music and sports.
Yeah. Oh,
And like,
there's one where he talked about like soccer or something or football.
I don't remember anything about soccer. I think it was just football. But boy, let me tell you, like, you know, when I was driving home from Retro World last year and started like feeling the symptoms of COVID,
Yeah.
like starting to creep in, like listening to you two talk about music and sports and nothing else started making me think like, oh no, did I get sick while I was at Coury's house?
Really?
Because I was like, because the initial feelings of the first symptoms I had was just feeling like really tired, like it's time to go to bed tired.
Oh.
And like driving home and listening to that like was giving me that same feeling. And then like I got past that and you know you were talking about, you know, more tolerable subjects. Not to say that you guys are insufferable to listen talk about sports and music. Because I mean a lot of what you guys talk about is music, but it's like you'll usually move on and it'll be something else eventually, right?
Yeah.
Well, like these two episodes were like almost entirely sports and music. And it was just like it made me question my health. No offense, but it wasn't. Those weren't my subjects.
No offense, but I thought I was gonna die when you guys were talking about this stuff. Oh, I gotta hit that button. What's this thing doing? There we go. So has anybody else like bought this game like as I've been playing it? I'm curious if people feel.
Good.
I mean, I did.
I know. I'm just curious if anybody else has felt compelled.
Oh, you know, in addition
good.
to a Tony Escobar super chat, I noticed that there was. Oh wait,
That's
my
good.
list, my list glitched out.
That's good.
Huh? My. Oh wait. Oh, never mind. Everything is correct. In addition to the super chat from Tony Escobar, there was also, I know it's 25 minutes ago, a $1 Patreon pledge from, I love how this is spelled. It's Dustin, but it's spelled with an O instead of an I. Like Dustin. I like it. Sounds very fancy. But there was a $9.99 super chat from Dr. Tony Escobar.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Saying 2 hours behind on the stream, but just setting up my family's new Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED. Just wanted to drop by and support. Well,
I'm curious, like
I see we are Switch Tears of the Kingdom OLED brothers now. You know, almost more than the OLED itself. Like the size of the screen is like, you know,
Slayer.
It's a significant difference.
Like a boss. I forgot what I was gonna say.
And also just like the way the system like curves from like top to front and back feels like a smoother, nicer transition. I also noticed, this surprised me, like I was like, where are the intake vents? And they're like really they're these really, well, they're long, but they're really small. I guess that's what these are. Like, I mean, you can see them even with the stand flap closed, but they're really small. It's a lot different from what I'm used to with the launch model. The stand is quite nice though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you can basically lay it on its back. Makes it
Like
really good to shoot B-roll with it.
Yes, that's one thing I thought about for sure. And
Um,
also, you could actually sitting on airplane tray thing that they advertise in that like original Switch reveal video.
Are you gonna do that?
I might try it. I might
I feel
try
like
it.
if I was sitting next to somebody doing that, I would be like immediately annoyed.
I tried it briefly, but then I'm like, wait, you can't actually do it because like the angle isn't like it can't go down far enough for you to like look at it comfortably. Like you're looking at it like such a steep angle.
Were you able to get all your saves and stuff on it though? I mean, did you have to? Were you able to transfer everything, or did you have to do what I said? Were you able? Did you have to?
I mean, I was able to copy everything from the cloud, but then you have to download like a separate app to copy your Animal Crossing data. It's like kind of weird. Like you have to like go to you have to go to the eShop.
Well, I thought that's just to move a character from one to another, but maybe not.
I mean, as far as I could tell, the only way to actually move your data from one Switch to another is you have to download to both systems like this Animal Crossing transfer tool.
But I mean, were you able to? Like I said, I had to download all my games again. I couldn't transfer. I couldn't just copy the SD card to like a new one.
Oh yeah, but I didn't. I mean, it took like an hour or two to download all my software. Like I have so few digital games overall. But yeah, I was able to use the cloud save thing, which, I mean, honestly, because I only use one Switch, like I'd never really had any insight into how it works. But obviously, I had, had it activated because all of my data was uploaded.
Right.
So I had enabled it, and it downloads really quickly. But there's no just like download all.
Yeah.
Function like just about just
quick.
like everything with Nintendo, playing the games is sublime, but anything that's just like using a computer in a normal way has to be cumbersome.
I guess.
But yeah, it did not take very long overall to get that set up. And there was also a $3 from Cade the Squirrel again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying image scaling is still an issue for Game Gear screen mods, but if you use a Master Gear and use it as an SMS games, SMS games almost fill bin screens and have a perfect integer scale. Most Game Gear games have Master System ports anyway, so it's nothing lost and everything gained. Yeah, I'll have to do some research into that. Like, almost what I would prefer over anything else really would just be like have the original screen functioning and then just have like, like a RGB output mod. That's probably what I would like the most.
Well, in that case, I mean, if Game Gear stuff is not integer scale, then I don't feel like a lot of reason to change from my Mick will.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't necessarily want integer scale
the Master
for
System stuff as much, Like that's
Say
cool.
what?
It's cool that I just don't care as much about the Master Gear stuff, or playing Master System games on it.
Yeah. And I, in general, I like Game Gear games a lot more than Master System games. Like I mean, he's right though. Like in Europe and Brazil, like a lot more games did get Master System ports.
Right.
But just in general, I like the Game Gear library a lot more than the Master System library. Like the games just feel better to me to play. So, another thing that, I mean, this was a review sample that you got, and we ended up not really doing like a review on it. But it's the kind of thing that we might use in a future video, but it was the Aya Neo Air Pro.
Yeah.
And it's kind of neat, I messed around with it a bit, but I was surprised. Like I ended up doing a fresh install, and then I haven't, or not a fresh install. Actually, at first I did a fresh install because there were aspects of like your install that I couldn't get rid of.
Right.
And then, but then it was really weird because like the drivers for like the touch screen and controls and stuff weren't working correctly. And then I looked up how to do like a factory reset that like it actually like can install like install that it wants to do, the Windows 11 install that it wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked fine, but both when before I did any of that and still now, like I don't know if anyone else has like an Aya Neo, but I'm kind of annoyed that it doesn't seem to have like an activation code for Windows.
It can be activated. I mean, it's just, I think.
Well, I'm sure it can, but like I think I have to buy it.
No, you don't. You don't. They wouldn't make people have to do that for something that I think that.
I mean, you can use it. I mean, you can't customize like that.
What I'm saying is,
it's been that way for a long time, where you can install Windows for free, but you can't like.
No, like it's definitely possible to activate it with what you have. You might just have to use. You might have to like call like their activation number. You might have to call Microsoft to do it.
I don't know. It's weird, but anyway, like I mean
if you look, just like Google, Windows 11 like won't activate or activation, and
well, within Windows, if I tried to go to the Windows store to activate, it says that I don't have genuine Windows or something like that.
All right. Well, I know that like they're not making people buy it.
I mean, it would definitely be very weird.
I don't feel they would make people buy it.
It would be weird, but yeah, I don't know what to do about it because it's. I'll look into it more.
I mean, what I would do is just like, I feel like I saw like a Google thread of just by Googling it. Of like.
But anyway, it's it's pretty neat. Although I installed some Steam games and like I do not have a robust Steam library. Like I went through like a brief little PC phase, like at the end of the PS3 generation when it was struggling so hard. So I've got games like, the Tomb Raider reboot and BioShock Infinite, and I installed Tomb Raider and I tried it, and I was surprised how much I had to turn down the settings. To get it running smoothly, considering it's a 3-year-old game, but I'd be curious in installing stuff like Final Fantasy 11 for use with like private servers and stuff, because that game is 29 frames per second no matter what you do. Oh well, I mean there are hacks to run it a very unsmooth 60. I kind of prefer it's 29 frames per second just because that's how the game is supposed to be. The 60 frames per second mod teases you with a smooth frame rate. But anyway, I kind of have been wondering though if I wonder if it's any better than the I can't remember what CPU is in it.
It's like a Ryzen, isn't it?
It's no. But I'm wondering if it's better than my other computer that I sometimes do PC game stuff on when I need to, which is infrequent. But I wonder if it's better than that because that's like an i5 from like 2012 and like a GTX 960. Like I wonder if this is like I also was wondering if you like connected a capture card to the USB-C ports, I wonder because it's got like a terabyte SSD on it, which is kind of a lot. Like it could possibly be a decent like portable capture computer.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I mainly have been using my Steam Deck for.
Henry Clark, this is the Air
capture,
Pro.
What?
This is Henry Clark was asking what INEO it is.
Yeah,
it's the Air Pro. It was a review sample that was sent to us, but we're not really interested in doing like a review on it. But
the thing is, I was gonna do something, but the first one I got was all busted.
It was really buggy.
It was like I couldn't do anything. Like the pointer, like the mouse pointer was just like flying all over the place, and I was supposed to like update some firmware on the controls, and I couldn't get it to work. So I ended up having to send it to him, and it took like months for me to get it back. And then I just basically I never opened it. Like I just checked it to see if it didn't do that anymore, and then I just put it away, and I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then I just recently got an email from them saying that the person we were talking to is no longer working there, and if we were interested in looking at the new one. And I'm just not gonna say anything because I don't want to bother with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's not really our scene, but I'd like to get emulators running on it and stuff, and it's the kind of thing that is useful to have for future video subjects, but it's reviewing it as it would normally be used is not really our thing. But I mean I think it's pretty interesting so far. And I actually just bought
are in this campaign.
I ordered an Anchor USB-C hub that has HDMI out. It was like $30 or something that supposedly works with it. So I'll be interested to see what I can do with it, and if I can determine whether maybe it's better than my GTX 960 computer, and if so, I can remove that from my setup and just use the INEO instead for computer stuff. Right. That would save me some space, right?
Yeah. I don't know how long this is. I mean, it looked like it had multiple campaigns.
Really?
Well,
I mean, if it was in
That's good.
If it was in what do you call it? Early access for a long time, then
this was
supposedly someone early in the stream asked is this game finished? It was in early access for a long time, and considering it's on consoles, I mean it has to be finished. I don't think early access is a thing on consoles.
I mean, right here it's saying backers, with the construction complete. We just want to take a moment to thank our backers. We couldn't finish this project without you.
I will tell you though that
that's good.
That Star Fox type game is definitely something that does make me want to try early access. But I mean, I watched you play all the content that's there at this point anyway. So, I mean, it looks awesome, but I'd still rather just wait. Anyway, there was a couple of super chats that came in. Sorry, I got on a ramble there. There was a $5 super chat from Nana Cheesecake
Oh, thank you.
saying, "Here's to another happy Sunday. Say hi to Sandy for me, Sandy." Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Nana Cheesecake says hi. Did you know that? Yeah, come here. Nana Cheesecake said hi. Come here. Come here. Yeah, come look. Come.
I want that double jump.
Oh. Yeah. Here, I'll show you.
I think that this has some elements where you can go back to like earlier levels and find more items and stuff.
Was you sleepy? Was you being asleep? Was you being asleep?
Yeah. You just woke her up.
But anyway, there was also a a 550, I believe, reals from Octavio Veltrini. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying, "Hi, Trying Corey. First time on stream. Your
Ooh.
voices are synonymous with retro gaming knowledge to me. Playing Panzer Dragoon Orta as I watch." Well, you know what? I'm so glad this is the first time you've been to a stream because, gosh, what was it? Probably like 4 years ago when I streamed Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was longer than that ago. It might not seem like it, but like 4 years ago. I mean, it was more like
pre-pandemic,
it was probably like 7 years ago.
But yeah, we did a 24-hour charity marathon stream, and I spent like a stupid amount of that time on Panzer Dragoon Orta because I did not understand how to properly level up your dragons until much later in the game, and I would have saved time restarting the entire game than trying to brute force the final boss with underpowered dragons the way I did. It was a mistake. I definitely would like to replay that game to do it justice sometime, you know?
Whoa! What did I just get? Oh my. I like that you can respond to the Nexus point and it doesn't send you back. It just you just continue.
Oh, so the enemies are still dead?
Yeah.
Huh. Feels like cheating a bit, but I guess it's similar to BioShock in that way.
I bet you there's a setting to like where you can turn that off maybe.
Do you recover any ammo when you respawn?
No.
So you have your same ammo.
You start with you do get your health back. I mean, it's not cheating because it's like that's how they designed the game. It's technically not cheating.
What GPU was I talking about? I was talking earlier about the GTX 960. I think it's a 960.
Jeez,
that's in one of my older computers. Anyway, there was also a $5 super chat from Mega X6.
Oh,
thank you. Saying, finished second playthrough of Breath of the Wild this past week. Definitely more fun on second playthrough. Still hate the not climbable in rain mechanic. Honestly, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of things were climbable in rain, but maybe not.
Didn't you stream a game a while back where like it was difficult to climb stuff in the rain and you were annoyed? I don't know. Or something was more difficult in the rain. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe that was Breath of the Wild. I mean, because I played through it.
I haven't played Breath of the Wild in years.
No, I mean I've only played through it the one time. Like I have occasionally booted it up and like captured video from it, but I've not like played it since it came out. Like I've never done any of the DLC. And as it was, I kind of regretted, finishing the game when I did, and I'll be interested to see how I approach Tears of the Kingdom, because I played like 75 hours of Breath of the Wild, which like sounds like a lot for any game, but I feel like everyone I knew was spending well over 100 hours in it. And like,
I feel like my time was over 100 hours.
Huh?
I feel like my time in it was over 100 hours.
I think it was, yeah, almost everyone I knew, but like, I felt like I was just like so enthralled with the game that I felt like I had to be done with it or else I'd never get anything done ever again. Like there's so much more I could have done or would have liked to have done, but I was just like, well, now seems like a good time to beat it. And I kind of regret that. I wish I had done more, but I never started the game from scratch again. And then eventually it was like, well, there's a sequel coming. And I was like, I don't want to get Breath of the Wilded out before the sequel.
I can shoot some sticky nades.
Oh,
sticky nades.
So anyway,
kind of nades.
Tears of the Kingdom should be pretty darn fresh for me, given how comparatively little I've done with Breath of the Wild compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Perhaps regretfully little, but I'm finally feeling excited for the game. For a long time I was like not necessarily excited because I just kept wanting like, I just want the next Switch to come out and I want to play Zelda on that.
My main issue is that I feel like that I have too much to do.
I mean, yeah, and likewise.
But that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I'm not sure if I can like dedicate the amount of time to it as I'm gonna want to.
I know. Like, I mean, I'm definitely going to binge it pretty hard for the first couple of days, but then we'll see how much time I can put into it. Like, I feel like I'm going to do as much as I can up until Final Fantasy 16 comes out, and that's when I'm going to like. I will probably like finish the game the day before Final Fantasy 16 comes out, or something like that.
Oh yeah, so is there like a month in between?
I think a little more than that. Let me check here.
I mean, Final Fantasy 16. That's another one that I have not watched a single since that reveal trailer for it. I have not watched a single trailer for it.
So Final Fantasy 16 comes out June 22nd. Wow, which is a Thursday. That's weird.
Yeah, I wish I felt like really any excitement for it, but I will play it, like probably pretty quick. But I mean, I don't feel any real anticipation for it at all.
I mean, I
don't even know if I feel any anticipation at all for Zelda.
But I mean that's normal for you though.
Yeah.
Like you're just not really thinking about a game until you've got it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I mean, it's understandable for like someone who's like not a Final Fantasy 14 player to like, you know, you don't know, like, you know, you don't have like as much of a frame of reference for like what's this going to be like, right? Even though like I think the gameplay is going to be different, but I mean I'm just thinking of it in terms of like the, you know, the world and the lore, and you know, obviously I think the tone is going to be a lot more serious than Final Fantasy 14, but I guess I'm just saying, like, I come from a place where like I really trust the people behind the game. Yeah. You know? So like you know, that's got me excited. But anyway, so that comes out June 22nd, and Tears of the Kingdom comes out I think it's May 12th. So like 5 to 6 weeks. That should be enough time to do right much in Tears of the Kingdom, I'd say.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, it's gonna have to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, you know, I just get, you know, like combined with like everything else that I'd like to do.
Yeah. Well, I will probably do a lot less of those other things I like to do while I'm in Zelda mode.
That's good.
Anyway, sorry I fell a little bit behind there. There was a $10 super chat from Robert Hernandez.
Oh,
thank you. Saying, while we wait for Corey's epic game room tour, I figured I'd ask your opinions on RGB lighting and whether you think it's a must-have for ambience. Also, I just need an excuse to toss some coin your way. You know, I gotta say, you know, finally visiting Corey's indeed epic game room for the first time last week. You know, I mean, I expected to be impressed, but I feel like I was more impressed than I thought I would be. I mean, it's you know, you've got things really together. I don't know if you put any effort in to clean it up just for me.
No,
but,
that's like I didn't. Like that's just kind of how.
But
it is.
I mean, let me tell you what. If you were to just drop by in my place right now, you know, it's a little bit of a disaster right now. I've let several aspects of my setup kind of decay in their togetherness. And I actually spent a little bit of time this weekend trying to get things back as they should be. Like, that's why I was finally testing out that 16 input test smart switcher.
Right.
You know, to see if I would have the same surround sound issue that you had. You know, fingers crossed, it seems like I may not have that issue. But at any rate, you know, I was like, man, like Corey's setup just was so nice. And like the idea of my setup is nice, but like I kind of left various projects of, you know, organization projects and, you know, changing certain things about the setup projects, like kind of half finished. And that caused like lots of stuff to pile up and not put things where they belong. And I was, you know, seeing your setup was like, I have got to get things back in order so that like it's not always like such a hassle. Like anytime I wanted, like I need to like do something, right?
Yeah.
You know, I need to get things together
I still
again.
have like a little bit of that.
Yeah, but your place is in a much my place was in a really good state like several months ago, but it's not that way right now, and I need to patch it back up again.
I mean, was there anything that like I had done here that you felt like, oh, I kind of could see myself doing something similar to that? Like, is there like any inspiration you took from anything?
Not specifically, I don't think, other than just the desire to not have so much junk everywhere. Like things not in their place, right?
Yeah.
Like you really had things in their place. You know, I mean, you know, one of the biggest things is, you know, I have such a hard time keeping my studio space, like my B-roll shooting space. Like I have such a hard time keeping it like relatively free of things that I've just like set on surfaces in there, like temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, okay, I brought this in for B-roll, and you know, it'll sit there for a week or two or longer. Or, oh, I need to shoot something with this thing soon, so I like bring it into the room and it ends up sitting in there a really long time. Like just not getting stuff back where it belongs, or things that maybe I don't even know where it belongs. Like,
yeah.
just like not taking care of that in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Like, do you is your B-roll table like usually pretty clear like it was?
Absolutely.
When...
I mean, it's almost always like that, 100%.
See, I wish I could do that. I've never been good at that. There's almost always like a massive amount of stuff. Like,
well, so what
it's not on the whole B-roll table, like at least off to the side on the B-roll table, and then I like shoot like where you can't see that stuff.
My thing lately, oh, that guy keeps on getting me. And you know, this is just like something that I've been trying to adopt as like, you know, just like as things have like piled up, is that if know I have to do something, or if I have to like shoot like a clip of something for somebody or for something, I don't just set it down and say like I'll do this. I've been trying to like really make a habit of just like doing it right then. If I'm not doing something else, and there's no reason for me not to just do it right that moment, like I'll just do it.
And then once you've confirmed that you've got all the shots you need, you just put it away.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, you know what? I start to realize, that just feels really good to like get things done.
Yeah, you know, and you know, you're 100% right, and you like it gives you some energy to do more stuff where you're like, wow, I got something done for once.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you know, that day that you drove back, you know, like I was up in the morning, like doing a bunch of stuff. I was like, oh, you know, like I'm just having one of those days where I felt like I was getting a bunch of stuff done. I was like, oh, like paid all the bills, did all these things.
Yeah.
Like just like sit down and decide, like, you know, I'm gonna do all this stuff.
Like a big problem I've always had.
It feels good to accomplish things. That's exactly it.
I feel like whenever I get ready to do anything, whether it's like work on something or even just like play a game, and I try to be better about it, and I go through phases where I'm better about it, but like oftentimes it's just like I feel like all like the stars and moons have to align before I'm like, okay, is this the right moment?
Oh yeah, I mean
like
that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, I know, but it's like everything perfect, and am I ready to enjoy this game? Am I really ready to work on this video, or to shoot this B-roll, or to write this script, or you know, whatever, like that's always been a bad habit of mine that I'm like constantly trying to like fight against.
Well, I mean, as things
but I like that idea, like okay, I need to shoot this thing like soon, or it's on my mind, like shoot it, get all you need, and then put it back where it belongs.
Yeah,
I mean that's.
And if somebody's waiting on something, you just do it, and then you have to feel like, oh, you know, I didn't.
Well, I mean, if someone is actively waiting on it, of course I'm going to do it right away. It's more like stuff that I need to do, right? Like. Mm-hmm. Like not that anyone is specifically like if someone is like, hey, I need this shot of something like I'm going to do that right away. But like, if it's like for my own project, like I have a tendency to like pile things up, or I'm like, well, am I really done with this? Like, what if I need more shots later? Like, I don't want to put it back, you know, and then, you know, stuff just piles up on the B-roll table.
I mean,
or
that's
the
like,
other tables near the B-roll table.
I mean, that's kind of the big thing that I've been also trying to like just adopt in general, and it's just like, and it's something that we used to say a lot, but I don't think that it's like we've like done a very good job of following it. Is just like, you know, like done is better than perfect.
That's good.
Exactly. But it's tough to live up to that. I agree with that philosophy 100%, but it's sometimes hard to execute. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
I'm always, you know, I'm always fighting against these tendencies that I have to, you know, do things this way or that way. You know, it's a constant struggle to do better. You know.
Mm. All right, you got.
But anyway, the part of the question that we didn't answer was, do you think RGB lighting is a must-have for ambiance?
I think in certain things, I really like it, like bias lighting behind my TV, especially like the OLED, which is like so dark. You know, like if you're playing in a very dark room, I like to have, it's easier on your eyes to have that bias lighting behind your TV, because I before I had that, I used to find it was like really just too bright on my eyes, and I need that like that like, what's the term for it? Just like a kind of roll off on the brightness.
See, you know, I always think it's so strange that people complain about the brightness of OLED is like a negative, and it's like it can be searingly bright.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has nothing to do with the brightness. I just think that it's just like easier on my eyes to like have like have other lighting around it.
Right. I've never done bias lighting, but I feel like I think I would like it if I mean, I think I'd be more likely to do a warm light than a blue light, but
oh, I mean, but you can that I just found myself like enjoying the blue like the most. Yeah. But I mean, you can
do like a yellow.
You can change the color to whatever you want.
Yeah. But or just like a warm white or something.
The white, like I didn't feel like worked very well for it. Like it was.
But anyway, like the thing is, I've just never gotten into it. I mean, I don't know. Like I could see myself using it sometimes, but not all the time. Like when I play a horror game, like I gotta have all the lights off, and I want it to be as dark.
But I mean,
as
it's
possible.
like you don't even feel like it's like lighting up the room. It's just like it just makes it easier on your eyes to look at it.
I don't hate it, but it's just never been a price. Like honestly, if I got it, it would be more to have it look interesting in video shots than for my personal use, actually. And that's actually like when I think about RGB lighting, like I'm like, because I don't really have anything like these lights that are on me now can be RGB if I wanted them to be, but like you've got like a little blue behind you there, and I think that would look really cool on like shots for streams and stuff.
I don't know why there's like blue or it's coming from. It should like that's the bias lighting behind my monitor.
Oh, so it's just like reflecting off the shelf.
Yeah.
Or it's your TV. It's your TV, I think, that's reflecting off the shelf actually.
No.
Because it's like flashing is you're getting hit and stuff.
Oh yeah. If that's what's happening, yeah.
That's what it is, yeah. But that's the thing though. Like I personally, if I was not like streaming or shooting video of myself, like I would not really care about RGB lighting. Like the only reason I've even considered it, and again, I don't really use it as well as I could, But the only reason I've considered it is just like, oh, this would look cool on video. But like if I'm just like chilling around the house, I'm not gonna have it on. And I'm not sure to the extent I would even want it. I've got like it's an IKEA lamp, but it's very kind of old school. Just a very traditional feeling, floor standing lamp. Just a traditional tapered lampshade. And I've got like a warm white LED bulb in it. And it's not super bright or anything, but like when I'm just like chilling at home, like that's the only light that I want on. Like that, and I've got another like low light in my bedroom. But like that to me just feels like that. Just having like one lamp on with just barely enough light, a warm white bulb, like that's like relax. That's just relaxing in the evening to me, that like it makes me think of like my grandma's house for some reason. Like, like there was like a lamp like that next to her recliner. And like that's just a very comfy place for me. Like I don't want like a lot of other unusual, non-traditional lights around me all the time. Like it would mostly just be for making video look interesting, but just for myself, I just want one lamp. That's all I want is just one lamp.
That's good.
That is good. Sorry that all that rambling got me further and further behind. There was a $10 super chat from Andy64. Thank you. Saying, hey guys, have you played Blossom Tales? What are your favorite Zelda clone games? I love a good just like game that's just like we totally don't care how obvious it is that this is just our own Zelda game. Yeah. I love the audacity of it, and there's a lot of them. I've not played through Blossom Tales, but I do have it. I played like the first 10 minutes of it, and I'm looking forward to playing it. I liked Oceanhorn. I haven't played Oceanhorn 2 yet. I liked Oceanhorn quite a bit. I like Newtopia. I haven't played Newtopia 2. The only thing about Newtopia was I remember like later in the game, the overworld becoming quite obnoxious to explore. But I did really like it overall. Never played like any of the Darksiders games.
Yeah,
I think I played a demo of one of them. John was telling me while we were out game shopping, he was saying that he actually rather likes Darksiders 3.
I have 1 and 2, I think.
I don't have any of them. But yeah, those are some of the ones that come to mind. I'm sure that I could think of a lot more.
Right. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head either.
I mean, like when I think,
Crusader of Senti.
Yeah, I don't really know how much. Like if you get into it, I don't know how much like Zelda it really plays, or like if it's got like dungeons and stuff. Because I've only played a little bit of it. But like when I think of games that are just like straight up Zelda clones, like the first two I think of are Newtopia and Oceanhorn.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the first ones I think of. But there's a lot for sure. But yeah, Blossom Tales definitely seems to be another one of those, and I do look forward to playing through it. It seems pleasant from the bit I played. There was also a $5 super chat from Master Cypher. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying all this talk of setups and projects makes me wonder, do you guys use any software apps to manage or track projects and tasks for yourselves? Thanks.
So I've tried like
Coury's
several.
really into that. I do not really. So I'll give the floor to him. And while you go on about the software and apps you use to manage track your projects and tasks, I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right. I mean, I've tried like several different things. Like, tried tracking things like using different apps like Todoist and like Trello and stuff. And it's just really hard to stay on top of it. And I find myself sometimes like optimizing how I'm managing certain projects. Like I'm over managing it, and so it ends up like just taking like more time to do it that way than to just like do like how you normally would, I guess. Like that's been my experience. I mean, I tried a bunch of different things, but nothing has really stuck as much as I wanted it to. I mean, just like making a list is like the main thing, I guess. Making a to-do list and then checking them off, so you just don't forget it. And to be honest with you, like I feel like the thing I've had the most luck with is I just keep a notepad, or like is it a book, like a notebook, like right next to my computer, and I just write stuff down on it. I mean, honestly, sorry, I'm looking at the computer, but I should be looking here. Is I just write things down on like paper, and I like cross them out as I do them. I wish it was more exciting than that. And I've tried so many different things. It's just that is all. That's the one that I keep on going back to. I mean, just that, like, there's so many like really good apps for it, but I just end up trying to figure out how I can streamline the apps to like do exactly what I want, and I spend so much more time doing that, and I get annoyed, and like if something gets as Scepter Sever said earlier, that I get annoyed a lot. I mean, I just got annoyed that, you know, is either like overcomplicated, or my like ADHD like gets a hold of me, like, oh, how can I micromanaging things, and then it just like creates a whole other problem, I guess. So the new video it's slow, but it is certainly not intentional. I have two things that are like priority things that need to like happen before I like can dedicate myself fully to that video, which is not going to even take that long, really, once I can do it. It's just that I'm authoring a Blu-ray for this documentary on Street Fighter 2 called Here Comes a New Challenger. And it's like basically done. It's just that now I've been asked to also subtitle the entire nearly 2.5 hour movie. And I've like spent all weekend working on that. And that is like almost done. And then I'm writing an essay for the upcoming issue of Lost in Cult on the Game Gear, actually. And that is like supposed to be due like the end of the month. So I just have like two things that are like on a deadline that have to take priority over doing the video right now. Like it's just like these people are paying me to like, but they're on a deadline. So like I need to get that done before I can do anything else. And both of those things will be done this week. So once those are done, I have like nothing else that I can really think of going on, and so I can just dedicate myself fully towards just getting the video done. But in the meantime, like I've just had to do that stuff. Yeah. my my life and living your life. Yes, I mean it is that, but you know, like it's certainly not intentional that it's not out. It's just that I need to do this stuff for people that are on a deadline. I need to get that stuff done. But once those two things are done, I think that I don't think that I really have much other things in the pipeline that will take me away from just like getting down to like regular videos. I think that power adapter video is going to be fun because like as I just have been working on it, I just like think of like, oh, you know, like I can show how to, you know, maybe I'll have a little bit of a thing where I show how to make your own like pole reversal and barrel size adapters, because that's what I did. So I'm going to have a little bit of that. But that means I got to order those like extra parts from Console 5, which I plan to do today. But I haven't, but I will probably do it after the stream. But there's like lots of little things like that I think will be fun.
So I guess you finish up with Master Cypher's question there about the...
Yes, yeah. Hopefully.
So anyway, sorry about that. I'll be getting back to Super Chats. There was $5 Super Chat from Sneak Creeper. Thank you. Saying, with what Nintendo has done to fan projects and YouTubers, have you ever thought about boycotting even temporarily?
Wait, what is it?
With what Nintendo has done to fan projects and YouTubers, have you ever thought about boycotting even temporarily? I mean, no. I mean, you know, I've never had like a whole lot of like a boycott type mentality in general, but like, I mean, you know, me doing anything isn't going to, I mean, I guess the way that I always tend to look at it, especially when it comes to game companies, like, and you know, this isn't going to be the perspective for everyone, and that's okay. But like, games are the works of, you know, the creative and technical people, you know, in the trenches doing the work, you know, and has nothing to do with the lawyers and the marketers and, you know, the high level management decisions. That those are the things that we don't like, right? Those are the things that frustrate us and annoy us. And when I'm playing and enjoying the games, I'm not seeing that side of Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft or EA, Square Enix, whoever it is. If I'm enjoying the game, I'm enjoying the work of people who have nothing to do with, you know, the work of the people who are doing the things that, you know, are annoying, you know, YouTubers and fan projects and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, definitely companies can do like, you know, totally distasteful, you know, things as well, that kind of makes you think like, you know, especially when it comes to like maybe like a, you know, a smaller company or something, like, you know, maybe the you know, the developer, you know, is like just kind of weird or something, and it's like, you know, it maybe kind of takes some of your enthusiasm from the game. But like when it comes to like all these big companies and stuff, it's like, you know, takedowns of fan projects and stuff like that, like it, you know, it has nothing to do with, it's almost two companies, you know, the creative side and then the business and legal side that, you know, are almost separate, but they, in my mind anyway, you know. But like, and also like, it's Nintendo's stances on that kind of stuff has never really directly impacted us. Like I think I think maybe a lot of people who don't create stuff so much maybe have an inflated view of like what you can get away with and what you can't, if that makes sense. Like it's never really come up to be a problem for us, and we show Nintendo stuff all the time without really giving it much of a second thought. So it's pretty easy to stay in their good graces. But I definitely do, get concerned when I see stuff like the Zelda CDI Game Boy remake that came out today. Like, that I see that and I do get concerned because I'm like, well, like this is an interesting idea, but it needs more work. But I worry that they've shown it too soon, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they might lose the ability to polish it up to a point where it would have been a really great little project. I do worry about those things, but as a video maker, I have not found it to be a problem. And if I'm being perfectly honest, as sad as like, the Nintendo's lawyers' stances can be on fan projects, and don't get me wrong, that's upsetting. But again, we're talking lawyers, not the people whose games I enjoy, right? That's just my perspective. They're separate things in my mind. I do feel really sad about the lost effort when stuff like that happens. But speaking personally, I tend to not like play too much of that kind of stuff. So it makes me sad, but it also doesn't necessarily impact what I am playing all that much. But it makes me sad, like, because I just think about all of the lost effort and then the difficulty of people who would like to play that, to access that material. I don't like it, don't get me wrong, but it's just a roundabout way of answering your question. No, never really considered that. I don't think Nintendo is far and away the company whose works I enjoy the most in video games, and it would take a lot more than that to make me do a boycott of any kind that would have no real impact in my mind anyway.
Yeah, I don't think too much about like different boycotting. Although it's not so much Nintendo, but I'll tell you that for instance SNK, like I've thought about King of Fighters, whatever it is, like 16 or 15 or 16 or whatever is like it, and I have like specifically not bought it. So not Nintendo related, but
there was also a $6 super chat from Junko988. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Saying best way to charge rechargeable batteries: let them drain to a low percentage, charge them constantly and frequently. I don't know if anyone has the true answer to that. I feel like you can hear
right
from
now there's a lot of like I noticed, like even on the iPhone and like with different like Apple products and like different things, like they're making it so that things don't charge fully because it doesn't affect the memory of the batteries anymore. Like it's not even a thing. It's just like they're saying it like will last even longer if you don't charge the maximum every time like every little bit, I guess.
I mean, but I think it's also bad to just like never charge it and let it just drain to zero and sit at zero, right? You know?
Yeah.
Because it will drain to zero, you know, or a lot of things will, you know, if they're not used. I mean, I feel like you can hear from a lot of experts on this stuff, and they'll give you different answers, or at least they would give you different answers at different points in time. I don't really know what the current consensus is, you know. So what I do right now is I've kind of got, I kind of think of it as like my retirement home for portable systems that I don't use all that often. You know, I do have my batteries removed from my PSPs. I've got 3 PS. Well, I've got.
Yeah, I don't have any batteries in it besides like the one I had.
But
bulged anyways.
Well, see, none of mine bulged. None of mine were bulged, but I took them out anyway, just as a precaution.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't bother me that much. I did, I think, put a battery in. Actually, it wasn't that long ago. I put it back in temporarily, just so I could shoot some B-roll without a.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're playing the system.
Or no. You know what? I put it in temporarily because, for one, it's pretty easy to remove and put PSP batteries back in. But I was recording it and I was like, oh man, you know, because when I was testing it out, like I accidentally knocked the power supply out. And it's like, oh man, like maybe I should put the battery in just as like a backup, you know? Because the battery was fine. So I put it back in, but then I took it back out. But anyway, so PSP aside, like I've got 2 Vitas and multiple DS, 3DS, GBA systems. And I've kind of got them all in this like tub that has this, has like a hole. It's these IKEA tubs. I really like them. These IKEA tubs that have there's a hole in the back. It's not a huge tub. And there's a hole in the back for whatever reason. I'm thinking it's like to put your thumb in to like make it easier to like carry or something. But like I'm like, oh, like I could run wires into that hole. So I have like a bunch of chargers running in there, and what I do, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do or necessarily informed by any particular knowledge. But, you know, I've got like one 3DS charger, which also charges PSI. I've got one Vita charger going into a dock. And I've got one GBA-SP/original DS charger going in there. So not everything is on charge. And just like whenever I think of it or whenever I use one of those systems and then put it back, I'm just like, oh, I'll move the charger from this system to this system. So they're not like all on charge constantly, but like one of them will be on charge for an extended time because, you know, I just leave it plugged in. But then eventually I'll take it out and put it in another. So it's kind of hopping from one unit to the other, or I take one Vita off the Vita dock and put the other one on the Vita dock, and you know, that kind of lets them be off it for a bit, and then, you know, so I don't know. It's probably not the best, probably not the worst. But that's just how I am doing things. But, you know, it's not necessarily long-term storage, you know, because these are things that I occasionally do take out and use, but not super frequently. But man, let me tell you what. When I was setting up that little setup, you know, I've got a Game Boy Micro that, you know, I bought when you could still buy the Famicom ones like new and they were like normal price. I think the Famicom ones are pretty valuable now. I basically got the Game Boy Micro just like to have it, because I had every other Nintendo handheld, and it's like, well, I have to have a Game Boy Micro. And eventually I bought one because it's like, oh, the Famicom one's really good. And that's not the same thing against the Game Boy Micro. I mean, I know a lot of people really, really love the Game Boy Micro. You used it quite a bit during your
Yeah, when I lived in New York.
commute
I like
days
it,
in
put
New
it in,
York.
like, my change pocket in my pants.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a really neat little thing.
I mean,
but it's just
that was like a time I was like, I wasn't playing many games really at that time either.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a reason to get a Game Boy Micro, and so I just didn't for a long time. And it was after the GBA's day when I finally did get that Famicom one. So it just wasn't anything like it was mostly like turn on, oh that's neat. Turn on again a few years later, shoot B-roll. But anyway, while I was setting up that setup, I'm like, well, I gotta plug in the Game Boy Micro. I'm looking at the port on. I'm like, what is that? What is that connection?
What is it?
I'm like, I don't recognize this at all. Like, it's not the DS Lite. It's not the DS. It's not the 3DS. Like, it's a completely different port. I'm like, where's that charger? I can't remember ever seeing that charger. And I looked around and looked around and looked around, and I finally found it. And guess what? Like, it still had the twist tie on it. I had never used it. Like, anytime you have seen a Game Boy Micro in a MLiG video, like, that's the charge that it came with. Like, we're talking probably what? Like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, I had never charged it until like a year or two ago. I'd never used the charger. And it wasn't because it needed it. It was just because I was setting up this little permanent semi-permanent charging station, right? Whether that's the right idea or not, I don't know. But like, it'd never been charged. That's incredible. But anyway.
This level is really intense. It's pretty awesome though. It's just really
Yeah.
fun.
You think it's like the last level or the last level of the episode?
I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff at that store that I never unlocked.
I'm sure there's like a lot of extra content in the game, I would imagine.
I know that the Pocket does work without the battery in it. So at least there's that. I will be curious if anybody does make, or if they sell extra batteries.
Is it like an unusual form factor?
I don't know, but I know that it's been confirmed. I think it was just like I saw a post, like maybe it was on Discord or something like that, saying that it definitely works without a battery in it.
That's good to know.
Whew.
Mr. Do says, I'm so blown away at how many batteries the Turbo Express takes. How many does it take? Is it like 6 or something? I bet it's 6. Isn't that as many as the Game Gear takes?
They just sell extra batteries though with $50 shipping probably. Yeah. Or just at least let us know what they are. If they're like, I mean, I can't imagine that they're only for that, right? I mean, it's got to come with, or they got to be usable on something else too, maybe.
Does the Turbo Express really use 8 batteries? It's pretty intense, honestly.
Ooh, there's a shop right here. So
the SP doesn't look comfortable to me. And yeah, I mean, you aren't wrong.
It's not.
I enjoyed it, the heck out of it back in the day, though. Like, I mean, having anything resembling, I mean, it's so funny looking back at the original SP light, like, the front lit light.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible. It's garbage. But it was amazing at the time because, like, we hadn't had anything like that on a Game Boy before. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is such a luxury.
I don't understand like the how do you unlock the different tiers?
But I enjoyed it so much back in the day. But I agree, it's hard to go back to. It's pretty hard to go back to the SP.
I don't understand what the tiers are like, or how you access new tiers.
Oh, Mr. Dude says, I guess Turbo Express uses 6 AA and only lasts like less than an hour. Yeah, is that true? Oh man.
Oh, I didn't realize what time it was. You're caught up on super chats, right?
I am caught up on super chats. Sandy, why are you being a fussy butt? Why are you being a fussy butt?
I mean, I feel like
Now is not time to be a fussy butt. Do you know what time it is? When's the right time to be a fussy butt, Sandy? Never. Yeah.
well, if I back out here, let's see if it tells me like a percentage of completion. I mean, I can't imagine
It's not time to be
that
fussy
I'm
butt.
very far. I bet it's like I bet it's got a ton of content.
Well, yeah, but I wonder like when the game would be considered beat.
What? When it what?
Like when it would be considered beat. Like
Oh,
before
yeah.
like
I mean,
you
look at I
do
haven't
all the
even
content.
gotten like a majority, like a bunch of the weapons yet.
Yeah, that's very true. Good vibe collecting. I mean, the frontlit SP has a good screen with little ghosting, but you know, it's still not as good as the Game Boy Color screen because the Game Boy Color screen is
21%.
is much easier to see, just in general. You know, because the SP frontlit screen is the same level of visibility as the horizontal system. Yep, video game obsession. I've definitely come around to seeing Microsoft's viewpoint on the just give people the option to use rechargeable if they want or not. Just the AA battery and the controller. You know, assuming AA batteries don't stop being sold at some point in the future. It's honestly kind of nice to not have to worry about, a battery inside the controller decaying over time. There was there was a $5 super chat from Sneak Creeper again. Thank you. Saying, what about Nintendo holding save data backup behind a paywall?
That annoys me.
Like,
that you can't do
crap
it.
like,
But Sony's doing it with PS5 too now, and that annoys the crap out of me too.
and crap like Animal Crossing not auto doing cloud saves and the Met NSO quality. I mean, the Nintendo always has this. I mean, I was talking about earlier, like when I was transferring my saves to, my new Switch OLED my Zelda Switch OLED, because it was the first time I'd ever gotten another Switch and ever had to experience that. And I mean, it's stupid how Nintendo, their game experience is almost always really great, but like anything that's just like doing normal computing stuff, transferring files, doing online stuff, it's always very awkward and cumbersome. And it's like, why are they doing it this way? And it's dumb. It should be better. But like I don't see that as being a boycott type thing. I mean, like save data backup being behind a paywall. I don't really understand why.
Well, the thing is, like PS5, like it has you can't see. like I understand what you're saying, that like you can back it up like using this, but what I like to do is I back mine up to USB drive. And you can't do that with PS5 saves. That annoys me.
Yeah, but like, I don't. I mean, I definitely don't love that. Like, I wish they would let everyone just use cloud storage. I mean, but the thing is, like, I only get the base. I mean, I guess I do take the stance of giving Nintendo as little money as possible for the service, because I do get with friends on a family plan. So ultimately, I'm paying extremely little per year for Switch Online, and I'm just not interested in the expansion pack service. So, I mean, I guess you could call that a, half-hearted boycott, because I don't I don't see the need to give them more money for
Stefan,
than I have to for those services.
What's the backup tool? Is that like on the store? Look at the backup tool. Is that in the settings here?
I mean, PS3 has the backup tool where you copy everything to a external USB hard drive, and it takes like 3 days.
Yeah. No, it's in the system settings. Might be under system.
But yeah, it was really dumb how you had to copy the saves. Download the saves from the cloud. Like, there was, I can't believe there was no just like select all games thing.
Well,
like, what? Why? Like, I don't know why Nintendo's user interfaces are that way. I don't know. They've never figured out internet. I'm used to them having not figured out internet. Wait, what's going on? What happened?
Games this, like, I'm okay with that. If I have to do them all at one time, I'm fine with that.
Wait, so what's going on here?
Stefan is saying that you can back up your save games to a USB drive. Oh, look at that! You can, but you have to do everything at once. You just can't do them one at a time. I'm okay with just like doing it every once in a while. Like that would.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, can you view those individual saves then on the on there? Yeah, this is like all new to me, too.
Sandy, why are you being a fussy butt? Why are you being fussy butt?
So I'm gonna use that. Yes. So it just like has to go through everything that you have, I assume. But just doing save data, that is fine. But does that back up just PS5 save data, or does that back up PS4 save data too? Yeah, so, well, I have a USB drive that I just use for my PS3, PS4, and now PS5. Like they just saved to individual folders on there. Like there's a PS3 folder, there's a PS4 folder.
Oh, so you just plugged that in you just moved it from your PS3 or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, hopefully it'll work like that, but we'll see how.
And so then you'll have one drive with your saves for PS3 through 5.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But also, I mean, I have like PS1 on there too, and PS2 using the like different tools for those. Like I copied over.
I'm looking at this. It's saying please wait. Have you started the process, or is it?
I think it's like indexing probably everything that's there.
Because I'm like, I see that games and apps are selected, and you don't want that.
But I can't unselect it yet. It's not.
Oh, okay, so you haven't
not
gotten
giving
that
me the option to unselect it yet. PS4 games, you have 2 tools for your save games. I'm surprised that they don't give you the option though for just doing individual game saves.
It's amazing it's this slow, because I've usually found PS5 to be relatively quick to, like,
Well, I mean,
manage storage,
it's
like
looking at-
see like how much storage you filled up and stuff like that.
Well, not only that, but I wonder if it's looking at external drives. Do you have your PS4 stuff on an external drive?
Oh.
No, you don't. Do you not put it on?
Oh, yeah. I do, but it's an SSD.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a Samsung, I forget how big it is, but a Samsung SATA SSD. It's the exact one that, like, right when the PS5 came out, like, Richard did a video on Digital Foundry, like, analyzing, like, the value of playing PS4 games off of various different types of media on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
And the finding was that an external SATA is just as fast as, for PS4 games, is just as fast as the internal memory or an external NVMe. So I just got, the exact Samsung SSD that he used, the exact same Sabrent SATA to USB adapter, because some of those SATA to USB adapters are not very good.
Right.
So they'll give you really bad speeds.
I mean, I would get like a 4 terabyte SSD for PS4 games on PS4 on PS5, but I'm just using like a 4 terabyte hard drive now.
Right. I forget how big the SSD I have connected is, but like it's not full, like, because I never like installed all my PS4 games on it. I just kind of, there it goes.
Wow, I have 20 gigs of save data.
Wow. Well, I want to know what games are like the bulk of that space.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's full on there. I mean, it's a 64 gig thumb drive.
Like, I can't, like, when I think of like large games.
See what I mean.
When I think of large game saves, I think of like Bethesda games. You're not playing any of those. Like those get pretty beefy, but
I'm just saying.
Can you, like, sort by file size? Oh, did you get that Wanted Dead game?
No, that's just like.
Or that was John's copy?
Resident Evil 3 is a save file that's 413 megs. Final Fantasy VII Remake is 397. I mean.
Wow, so Resident Evil 3 is the biggest one?
I don't know why it would be.
Why?
That's a darn good question.
I mean, that Terminator Resistance being large
I
is
wonder
funny
if it's looking
too.
at all my PS4 saves though too, because there's definitely not 20 gigs of stuff here. Well, I mean. I mean, this is going to have probably more because all this stuff. I mean, all this stuff's done. I mean, I back up this stuff pretty regularly.
Wow. I just looked up Wanted Dead on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And like the game logo is like, I mean, it
Unreadable.
looks cool, but it's like completely illegible.
Yeah. I mean, when he said, "I'm gonna get this," I was like, "I can't. What even is it?"
Were you just like shopping?
Yeah, it's just like at a GameStop.
Oh yeah, so he bought it there.
Yeah.
I did want it though. Like it definitely has like a PS2 era vibe about it.
Yeah.
That is appealing.
I'm just trying to see what's on the USB drive as it is. I mean, I can back up all that stuff, but if it's gonna back up all my PS4 stuff also. Yeah, it's just funny thinking about how save files are like so much bigger than so many entire games.
Yeah.
You just want me to name every SNES game behind me.
There's not that many directly visible.
They all got their labels facing out.
It's not going to help you with any Super Famicom games, though.
Yep. That's why I don't even bother to place them like that. You don't see a black, game back there?
Yeah, I don't have Killer
I just
Instinct
have Killer
either.
Instinct.
The only off-color Super Nintendo game I got, and I only got it within the past year, is Doom.
Okay, so it's not even telling me the size of any of these. I mean, look at how much save data I have for PS4 here.
Oh, that's PS4 only?
I think so.
Now, is that but that's everything, like even games that you probably haven't played on PS5, right?
Right, because it's all stuff.
You download everything from the cloud.
Well, no. I mean, this is all stuff I backed up on my PS4. This is This is the USB drive. So
What the heck is Rad TV?
That's the you can like watch stuff in VR on it. Like there's a whole bunch of different like VR things.
Oh, weird. It's like VR video?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder what this unknown thing is.
Yeah, I had a few of those when I was downloading my Switch data.
Yeah, I have no idea what that one is. But those should show up because you'll have to like reinsert all your games into your Switch, and it should like associate those, like it'll create or associate those game saves with those games once it's like on the system. the demastered version for the Switch. I'll be curious. I would be curious to see how it runs on the Switch because it seems like it would not run that great, but I don't know. I'd be really interested. Anyways, I'm gonna head to bed because tomorrow's gym day. So
Yeah, and Sandy's being a fussy butt, so I better see what she needs.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks to everybody who donated, and I hope everyone enjoys their copies of Prodeus if you bought it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful.
Mine should be delivered tomorrow, so
Yeah.
I probably won't play it right away though. But I'll have it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just got a couple of things that I need that are priority for me to finish this week, and then I'll get back on that video, and hopefully, I don't think it'll take all that long. It's just like I said, I got things that people are on deadlines for that I need to do.
Yeah, and we were debating earlier today, because I had a small episode idea in mind, and I kind of did some testing for it yesterday, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this, at least not right now. Might not be the right subject to do because I wasn't really impressed with the results I was getting. So I was like debating a few other things, and then you were like, well, maybe there's not necessarily a need for me to get a smaller episode out immediately for any particular reason. So I should really focus on wrapping up Analog Frontiers. So
Right.
That'll be I'm going to pivot back that way. So sorry about.
I mean, you have a bunch of new material for it, so
that I'm very excited about. So.
Yeah.
I think that's really going on. There are new interviews for Analog Frontiers.
Yeah.
That we acquired a few weeks ago, which is something I never imagined we would actually get. So it's very exciting. So anyway.
Yep. Anyways, hope everyone has a wonderful week, and thanks for hanging out tonight. And we will see you soon.
Good
Take
night.
care, everybody. Good night.